Chapter 1067. Just now, the combined attack of the three Sovereign Realm demonic beasts didn't shatter the Scorching Sun shield. Instead, it was the Sovereign Realm demonic beast that shattered the Scorching Sun shield. On the way out of the Immortal Fury abode, Emo Qingyun recalled the battle and gained a better understanding of the Scorching Sun shield's defensive capabilities. With the Scorching Sun shield's defensive capabilities, it would be very difficult for a Sovereign Realm expert to break through it. Only a Sovereign Realm expert could do so. With the Scorching Sun shield's defensive capabilities and my various trump cards, I should be able to sweep through Li He's group of three. Thinking about how his strength had increased during this trip to the Immortal Fury abode, Emo Qingyun was filled with intense joy. Leaving the Blazing Valley was much easier than entering it. There wasn't the slightest obstruction along the way. Soon, Emo Qingyun arrived at the entrance of the Blazing Valley. With a leap, he returned to the Heaven's Spirit Tomb. Once he returned to the Heaven's Spirit Tomb, Emo Qingyun saw Li He's group of three not far away. Li He's group also saw Emo Qingyun. Seeing Emo Qingyun come out of the Blazing Valley, Li He immediately revealed a sinister smile as he got up and approached Emo Qingyun. After waiting for nearly 2 years, Emo Qingyun had finally come out of the Blazing Valley. "Brat, I thought you died in the Blazing Valley. I didn't expect you to still be alive." "Emo Qingyun, you're finally willing to come out. I thought you would continue to hide. Last time, I let you hide in the Blazing Valley. This time, you won't be so lucky." After saying these cold words, Li He's body moved and blocked the entrance to the Blazing Valley. In his opinion, he wouldn't make the same mistake twice. Escape? Why should I escape? Hearing the words of Li He's group of three, Emo Qingyun couldn't help but laugh with a strong sense of ridicule. He coldly laughed and said, "I was originally worried that the three of you would get impatient and directly leave the Heaven Spirit Tomb. I didn't expect you guys to be guarding here. This has saved me a lot of trouble." Emo Qingyun's words stunned Li He and the other two. They were surprised by Emo Qingyun's reaction. Shouldn't Emo Qingyun be nervous and afraid when he saw the three of them? From the looks of it, you seem to have gained quite a lot in the Valley of Flames. It gave you the confidence to confront us. Yi Fei Yang smiled coldly. His eyes were full of disdain. He said coldly, "If that's the case, then let me see how much you've improved in the Valley of Flames." Easterly Gem and Spear, Reverse Koan Wheel. Yi Fei Yang held the golden spear in his hand and leaped into the air. He spun 1,080 degrees in the air, creating several golden afterimages. After these afterimages were formed, they disappeared in a flash. In the blink of an eye, they were in front of Emo Qingyun and aimed at Emo Qingyun's head. As these afterimages approached, the laws of metal radiated from their bodies, transforming into thin golden needles that pierced towards Emo Qingyun. Still using this move? Seeing Yi Fei Yang's attack, Emo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain. He shook his head and said, "Yi Fei Yang, it seems that after so many years, you still haven't improved at all." Wild Scorching Sun. As Emo Qingyun's words fell, he used the first move of the Celestial Fury art, Wild Scorching Sunday. Then, a blue water shield condensed around Emo Qingyun's body. After this blue water shield formed, a terrifying heat wave was emitted from it, burning the surrounding 10 miles into a red color. Under the impact of this terrifying heat wave, the afterimages and golden needles that were attacking Emo Qingyun quickly dissipated in the air. How? How can this be? How did he become so strong? Seeing that his all-out attack couldn't even touch Emo Qingyun's body, Yi Fei Yang's face was filled with horror. Too strong. The strength that Emo Qingyun displayed was too strong, so strong that it made his heart palpitate. There was no other way. His all-out attack couldn't even touch Emo Qingyun's body, so how could he fight against Emo Qingyun? There's something wrong with this kid. Let's attack together. Seeing Emo Qingyun's performance, Li He and Yi Fei Yang's expressions tensed up as they realized the severity of the situation. The current Emo Qingyun wasn't easy to deal with, so they had to fight with all their strength. Chilling Spirit Sword Art. 10,000 swords fly. Li held a green longsword in his hand and quickly formed a hand seal, pointing at the longsword in his hand. Suddenly, the green longsword shone with a green light, releasing a terrifying sword ray. The moment this sword ray was released, it turned into tens of thousands of sword rays and rapidly bombarded Emochinyan. When these sword lights bombarded, the sword lights carried a mysterious power. This was the sword force of a person who had reached the higher realm. Under the support of this sword force, the sword ray's power instantly multiplied, reaching a level that would make a late-stage Supreme Being expert tremble in fear. Curling Cloud Lightning Crocodile, come out and fight. Under Yang Yunfan's attack, he didn't dare to hold back and immediately summoned his spiritual beast. Following which, a crocodile-shaped demonic beast covered in lightning appeared in front of Yang Yunfan. This demonic beast was very strong. It was also at the late-stage Supreme Being realm, and its aura was even stronger than Yang Yunfan's. Roar! After being summoned by Yang Yunfan, the Curling Cloud Lightning Crocodile opened its bloody mouth and pounced at Emochinyan with its steel-like claws. When the Curling Cloud Lightning Crocodile attacked Emochinyan, Yifei jumped up and stood on the crocodile's back. Eastern Overbearing Sky Spear, sky-piercing golden feathers. Under the swing of Yi Feiyang's golden spear, it released a dazzling golden light that turned into golden crystalline wings, giving off an extremely sharp feeling. When these golden crystalline wings formed, they overlapped with each other and formed a diamond-like spearhead. With a thunderous force, it blasted towards Emochinyan. Bang! 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 Li He and the other two's attacks landed on the scorching sun shield at the same time, producing a series of earth-shattering explosions and creating a destructive Yuan energy storm. When this Yuan energy storm was formed, it enveloped the space several miles around Emochinyan, making it impossible for others to see the situation inside. After a moment, the Yuan energy storm dissipated, revealing the situation inside. However, when Li He and the other two saw the situation in front of them, their faces turned pale. They couldn't believe that this was real. Even when the three of them worked together, they still couldn't break Mo Qingyun's shield. This was too hard to accept. If you can't break it, then you can't break it. It doesn't matter how many people there are. Looking at the shocked faces of Li He and the other two, Mo Qingyun said sarcastically. He said coldly, "Since you guys are done for, now it's my turn to make a move." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he took out the immortal burning battle halberd and slashed at Yi Feiyang, who was closest to him. Run! Seeing Mo Qingyun make a move, Yi Feiyang and the other two didn't dare to hesitate. They immediately turned around and prepared to escape. In their hearts, they were very clear that Mo Qingyun's strength had already reached its peak. He wasn't someone they could deal with. Author's note: this is it for today. Good night, everyone. Chapter 1068. Demonic Shadow, Traceless Ground Shrink. Mo Qingyun's body moved, leaving behind a few afterimages, and disappeared from where he was standing. When Mo Qingyun's body reappeared, he was already behind Yi Feiyang, waving the immortal burning war halberd towards him. The halberd swept horizontally. The flames raged. The halberd light was like a dragon emerging from the sea, rushing towards Yi Feiyang and directly swallowing him. No, no! Yi Feiyang immediately cried out in fear when he saw the terrifying flame dragon quickly coiling around him. At the same time, he waved the golden spear in his hand and pierced it towards the immortal burning war halberd, trying to block the attack. Clang! The golden spear and the immortal burning war halberd collided, creating a crisp sound and entering a state of stalemate. However, this state of stalemate only lasted for a moment before a scene that terrified Yi Feiyang happened. He realized that the place where his spear touched the immortal burning war halberd was disappearing little by little. Seeing this, Yi Feiyang was immediately scared out of his wits and prepared to withdraw his spear. However, just as he was about to withdraw his spear, Mo Qingyun laughed mockingly and said coldly, "It's too late to withdraw your spear now. Immortal burning war halberd, let me refine it." Bang! Under Mo Qingyun's control, the flame of the immortal burning war halberd suddenly rose, and the devouring power became even stronger. In the blink of an eye, more than half of the spear in Yi Fei Yang's hand was devoured, and it was still shrinking. After a few breaths, Yi Fei Yang helplessly threw away his spear and became nourishment for the immortal burning war halberd. The spear in Yi Fei Yang's hand was not a low grade, reaching the level of a top-tier spiritual weapon. After the immortal burning war halberd swallowed Yi Fei Yang's spear, its aura was clearly stronger. His war halberd can devour other weapons to increase its level. Seeing the change in the immortal burning war halberd, Yi Fei Yang's expression suddenly became shocked. With his thousands of years of experience, this was the first time he saw this kind of thing. Strange, too strange. Mo Qingyun did not care about Yi Fei Yang's shock. He smiled and said, "Didn't you just say you wanted to see my harvest? How do you feel now?" Mo Qingyun did not wait for Yi Fei Yang's reply. He waved his immortal burning battle halberd again and attacked Yi Fei Yang. When Yi Fei Yang was at his peak, he was no match for Mo Qingyun. Now, not only was he injured, but he had also lost his weapon. Naturally, he was no match for Mo Qingyun. Moreover, he comprehended the laws of metal, which just happened to be countered by Mo Qingyun's laws of fire. He could be said to be completely suppressed by Mo Qingyun. In this way, how could Yi Fei Yang fight Mo Qingyun? Very quickly, he was beaten by Mo Qingyun to the point where he couldn't even fight back. Pucci. Mo Qingyun and Yi Fei Yang fought for a few rounds. Yi Fei Yang was finally no match for Mo Qingyun, and his chest was pierced through by Mo Qingyun's halberd. Yi Fei Yang's eyes widened when he saw the hole in his chest, and his clothes dyed red with blood. He couldn't believe that this was real. He, Yi Fei Yang, stood at the top of the pyramid in the Tianhan continent. He was a late-stage sovereign, but today he died at the hands of a ninth-level transcendent stage brat. One ironic ending. Can you tell me, who are you? Why are you helping the heavenly pool, divine mountain? Before he died, Yi Fei Yang asked Mo Qingyun one last question with an expectant expression. From Yi Fei Yang's point of view, the hatred between him and Mo Qingyun was mainly because of the heavenly pool, divine mountain. There's no harm in telling you, because I am Gucci. Now you can die in peace. Mo Qingyun coldly replied to Yi Fei Yang's question. He then pulled the immortal burning battle halberd out of Yi Fei Yang's body. You're Gucci. You're not dead. Yi Fei Yang's pupil shrank when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. It was as if he heard the most terrifying thing in the world. He stared at Mo Qingyun with wide eyes. Before he could finish his sentence, Yi Fei Yang breathed his last. Plop! Without the support of the immortal burning battle halberd, Yi Fei Yang's body fell to the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust. Looking at Yi Fei Yang's corpse, Mo Qingyun didn't think too much about it. He raised his hand and stored it into the 5-directional pagoda. Yi Fei Yang was a late-stage supreme being expert, not to mention that his corpse was refined by Qi Lian. Just the blood in his body was an extremely precious material for refining pills. After storing Yi Fei Yang's corpse, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer. He chased after Li He and Yi Fei Yang. While Mo Qingyun was killing Yi Fei Yang, Li He and Yi Fei Yang were already far away. They disappeared from Mo Qingyun's sight. They ran pretty fast. Seeing that Li He and Yi Fei Yang had disappeared, Mo Qingyun's expression was cold as he spoke these cold words. However, Mo Qingyun wasn't afraid that Li He and Yi Fei Yang would run away. In any case, even if they could run away, they couldn't run away from the temple unless they didn't return to the sect. For Mo Qingyun, his most important mission right now was to find Song Jian in the Heaven Spirit Tomb. However, Mo Qingyun wasn't willing to let Li He and Yi Fei Yang escape just like that. After pondering for a moment, he came up with a plan. If nothing unexpected happens, Li He and Yi Fei Yang must be heading towards the exit of the Heaven Spirit Tomb. I could directly go there and kill them. I can also prevent Song Jian from leaving the Heaven Spirit Tomb after he recovers. With this thought, Mo Qingyun didn't delay any longer and immediately rushed towards the exit of the Heaven Spirit Tomb. Transfer Gate. In order to increase his speed, Mo Qingyun directly used the transfer gate to reach the exit of the Heaven Spirit Tomb before Li He and Yi Feiyang left. After using the transfer gate, Mo Qingyun's speed immediately increased by several times. 15 minutes later, Mo Qingyun arrived at the exit of the Heaven Spirit Tomb and waited for Li He and Yi Feiyang to arrive. Just as Mo Qingyun had expected, Li He and Yi Feiyang were indeed heading towards the exit of the Heaven Spirit Tomb and were preparing to leave. Seeing Mo Qingyun standing at the exit of the Heaven Spirit Tomb, Li He and Yi Feiyang's faces instantly paled and their expressions were filled with fear. Mo Qingyun had actually arrived here a step ahead of them, blocking their path. Seeing that their path was blocked, Li He and Yi Feiyang sighed in their hearts. Mo Qingyun's move was truly ruthless and decisive. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Seeing the arrival of Li He and Yi Feiyang, Mo Qingyun revealed a cold smile as he spoke these cold words. After speaking, Mo Qingyun dragged the immortal burning battle halberd and walked towards Li He and Yi Feiyang. Zzz. As the immortal burning battle halberd was dragged on the ground, it emitted a series of sharp sounds and sparks appeared from the friction with the ground. Seeing this scene, Li He and Yi Feiyang were instantly shocked, and the fear in their hearts became intense to the extreme. Chapter 1069. Mo Qingyun, what did you do to Yi Feiyang? Yang Yunfan had lost all sense of propriety under the pressure of Tang Wulin's aura. As soon as the words left his mouth, he realized that his words were inappropriate. Wasn't the situation before him obvious enough? Mo Qingyun and Yi Feiyang had fought, and now Mo Qingyun was here, but Yi Feiyang was nowhere to be seen. It was clear that Yi Feiyang was no match for Mo Qingyun. He was already dead by Mo Qingyun's halberd. Yi Feiyang, Mo Qingyun sneered and revealed an expression of disdain when he heard this. Of course he's dead. Now, I've come to send all of you to accompany him. Li's face trembled at Mo Qingyun's words. Mo, little brother Mo, he said nervously, there isn't much enmity between us. Everything that happened before was our fault. Can you please give us a chance to make up for it? There isn't much enmity between us. Mo Qingyun smiled disdainfully at Li's words. He shook his head. No, there is much enmity between us. The hatred between us is very deep. I don't mind telling you that I am Gucci. I've always remembered the grudge from back then. Gucci. Li He and Li He felt as if they'd been struck by lightning when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They couldn't be more familiar with Gucci's name. He was the most dazzling genius of the Tianhan continent. Other than that, the three of them had tried to kill Gucci in the Heaven Spirit Tomb for the 9 pills heavenly arcana. What they found hard to believe was that Gucci, who had been killed by them all those years ago, had come back to life. More importantly, it was one thing for Gucci to come back to life, but the three of them had become so terrifyingly powerful. This was the worst possible outcome for them. It was so bad that they couldn't believe it. Mo, no, Brother Gucci, we were too greedy back then. We lost ourselves and caused you irreparable harm. I've always felt guilty about this. After calming the shock and fear in his heart, Li put on an ashamed expression and apologized to Mo Qingyun. Since you've come back to life and are even stronger than before, this can be considered a blessing in disguise. Why don't you give us a chance to make up for the mistakes we made in the past? Yes, Brother Gucci, as long as you promise not to kill us, we'll do anything, even if you want us to give you the divine beast mountain. After hearing Li's words, Yang Yunfan didn't dare to hesitate and quickly expressed his opinion to Mo Qingyun. Brother, please don't insult that word. The corners of Mo Qingyun's eyes narrowed slightly as a mocking smile appeared on his face. He sneered and said, as for the chance to make up for it, I'll give you a chance. If the two of you are lucky enough to be reincarnated after I kill you, I'll write off what happened back then. But for now, you'd better accept your deaths. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he no longer wasted any more words with Li He and the other man. His figure flashed as he charged towards them. Brother Yang, let's go all out. It seems that if we don't go all out today, we won't be able to leave this place alive. Seeing Mo Qingyun charging at them, Li shouted to Yang Yunfan and attacked with all his might. Small world of the ancient sword realm. As soon as Li made a move, he brought out his precious elephant's small world. Then, a small independent space appeared above Li's body. There were hundreds of millions of broken swords in this small space. They exuded a terrifying aura. Clang, clang, clang. The sound of swords being unsheathed rang out. The broken swords in the small world of the ancient sword realm flew out continuously. They formed a sea of swords and bombarded Mo Qingyun. Good timing. Mo Qingyun let out a bold and unrestrained shout as he watched the boundless sea of swords rushing towards him. His expression revealed an arrogant expression. Mo Qingyun realized that these broken swords were all above the level of artifacts. Moreover, there were hundreds of millions of them. If the immortal burning battle halberd devoured all of them, it would definitely break through the limit of a spiritual artifact and reach a higher level. Then, Mo Qingyun leaped up. Instead of retreating, he charged towards the sea of swords. Wild Scorching Sun. When Mo Qingyun charged towards the sea of swords, he used the first move of the Celestial Fury art, Wild Scorching Sunday. Suddenly, a water shield formed around Mo Qingyun's body. It emitted a terrifying heat wave and aura. Soon, Mo Qingyun charged into the sea of swords. He formed a hand seal and pointed at the immortal burning battle halberd. He controlled the immortal burning battle halberd to devour the broken swords. Under Mo Qingyun's control, the immortal burning battle halberd emitted a terrifying flame. It devoured the broken swords that came close to it. As the immortal burning battle halberd continued to refine the broken swords, the aura emitted by the immortal burning battle halberd became stronger and stronger. The speed at which it devoured the broken swords also became faster. While Li was attacking with all his might, Yang Yunfan did not remain idle. He also activated his small world of the elephant. Then, one by one, ferocious-looking demonic beasts flew out from Yang Yunfan's small world of the elephant and charged towards Mo Qingyun. These demonic beasts were not weak. Every single one of them was comparable to a half-sovereign or even a half-sovereign. Although these demonic beasts had not reached the Supreme Being realm, their terrifying numbers were enough to make a Supreme Being realm expert retreat. Of course, Yang Yunfan's current goal was not to use these demonic beasts to force Mo Qingyun to retreat. Instead, he wanted to use these demonic beasts to deplete Mo Qingyun's origin energy. Oof. Boy, although your strength is astonishing, this old man doesn't believe that your essence energy will be limitless. That's right. Once we deplete his origin energy, it will be time for us to kill him. Li and Yang Yunfan displayed their strongest technique. Their faces were dark as they waited for Mo Qingyun to deplete his origin energy. Then, a strange scene appeared. Mo Qingyun and the immortal burning battle halberd in midair turned into two balls of light, one blue and one red. They continuously devoured the broken swords around them and killed the demonic beasts that came close. As for the demonic beasts and broken swords, they were like moths to a flame. When they got close to Mo Qingyun and the immortal burning battle halberd, they were annihilated. When they saw this scene, Li and Yang Yunfan sneered. Their evil plan had succeeded. However, they did not know that the reason they could maintain this state was because Mo Qingyun did not want to break it. If Mo Qingyun wanted to, he could break this state at any time and kill Li and Yang Yunfan. The reason why he did not break it was because he wanted the immortal burning battle halberd to devour more broken swords to increase its grade. After all, there were not many opportunities for the immortal burning battle halberd to increase its grade. As time passed, the number of broken swords and demonic beasts was increasing. Gradually, Li and Yang Yunfan could not bear it anymore. However, Mo Qingyun, who was in midair, did not seem to be running out of origin energy. Chapter 1070. Sword Honorable. Why hasn't this kid exhausted his origin energy? More than half of the demonic beasts in my precious elephant small world have already been depleted. My sword realm is the same. I've been collecting broken swords for nearly 1,000 years, and I've already exhausted 60% of them. If this continues, my sword realm will collapse. Looking at Mo Qingyun, who was still full of energy, Li He and Yang Yunfan were anxious. A strong sense of uneasiness rose in their hearts. Based on the current situation, it didn't seem like they were going to exhaust Mo Qingyun. Instead, it seemed like they were going to be exhausted by Mo Qingyun. At this moment, while Li He and Yang Yunfan were anxious, the immortal burning halberd in Mo Qingyun's hand suddenly emitted a dazzling golden light. After the golden light appeared, it quickly condensed and turned into a small golden crown. After the golden crown was formed, the fire dragon artifact spirit that was hidden in the immortal burning halberd flew out. After the fire dragon artifact spirit flew out of the immortal burning halberd, the golden crown fell on its head and fused with it tightly. Following that, the fire dragon artifact spirit's aura became several times stronger. The golden crown has descended the king's aura. That kid's halberd has been upgraded to a king artifact. His weapon has been upgraded? Could it be that he's using my sword C to upgrade his weapon? Seeing the changes in the immortal burning halberd, Li He and Yang Yunfan were shocked. They were frightened by the scene before them. They were no match for Mo Qingyun to begin with. Now that the grade of Mo Qingyun's weapon had increased, wouldn't their situation become even worse? While Li He and Yang Yunfan were panicking, a strong figure rushed towards them at an extremely fast speed. Seeing the figure approaching them, Li He and Yang Yunfan were delighted. They recognized the person approaching them. At this moment, the figure approaching them at an extremely fast speed was Song Jian, who had disappeared for a long time. For Li He and Yang Yunfan, Song Jian's arrival was like sending charcoal in snowy weather. He had given them a powerful boost. Venerable sword, venerable beast, let me help. Song Jian arrived in front of Li He and the sovereign beast with a solemn expression. He looked up at Mo Qingyun and said coldly, "Boy, I didn't expect you to have such a day. Now that the sovereign sword and the sovereign beast have joined forces, you won't be able to escape today." Song Jian. Hearing Song Jian's words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He could not help but reveal a look of surprise. He had been searching for Song Jian in the Heaven Spirit Tomb for more than half a year, but he hadn't been able to find him. Who would have thought that Song Jian would actually deliver himself to his doorstep? As the saying goes, one can wear out iron shoes in fruitless search, only to find it by chance without any effort. Can't escape. The corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly. He smiled meaningfully at Song Jian and said, "Song Jian, it seems like you haven't seen the situation clearly. However, since you've delivered yourself to my doorstep, you can die with them." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Song Jian's expression changed slightly. Only then did he feel that the atmosphere was a little strange. Yi Fei Yang seemed to have disappeared. After realizing this, Song Jian's expression changed. He had a bad feeling in his heart. He quickly asked Li He, "Venerable sword, where is the venerable spear? How come I don't see him with you?" "Brother Yi, he was killed by Mo Qingyun." In response to Song Jian's question, Li He stuttered and said something that made Song Jian shudder. Yi Fei Yang was dead? Even when Li He and the other two joined forces, one of them was still killed by Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun's ability was too terrifying. His ability was not as good as Mo Qingyun's. Therefore, even if he and Li He joined forces, they would still not be able to defeat Mo Qingyun. If that was the case, he would be in danger now. He might end up like Yi Fei Yang. No, this must be fake. This boy is only of the 9th level of the Transcendent Realm. How can he be so strong? Song Jian's face was filled with fear. He kept shaking his head, unable to accept the fact that Yi Fei Yang was killed. Mo Qingyun did not care about Song Jian's fear. He moved his body and charged towards Song Jian. Compared to Li He and the other two, Mo Qingyun wanted to kill Song Jian more. As long as he could obtain Song Jian's bloodline, his heavenly soul demonic body would be completed. Now that Song Jian had come to him, he could not miss such an opportunity. Heavenly Flames, Sky, Breaking Halberd. Shaoza, Heavenly Spirit Finger. In action, Sky, Concealing Finger. Zhongtong, Killing Finger. Upper Devouring Spirit Finger. When Mo Qingyun attacked Li He and the other two, Mo Qingyun executed all his offensive techniques and blasted them towards Li He and the other two. Suddenly, a fire dragon halberd light and 3 finger lights shot towards Li He and the other two. Faced with Mo Qingyun's overbearing attack, Li He and Yang Yunfan were shocked. They looked at each other and instantly understood each other's thoughts. Then, Li He and Yang Yunfan did not hesitate. They attacked Song Jian with their palms, sending him flying to block Mo Qingyun's attack. Honorable Sword, Honorable Beast, you. Seeing Li He and Yang Yunfan's actions, Song Jian's face was filled with disbelief. He could not believe that this was real. He wanted to join forces with Li He and Yang Yunfan to fight against Mo Qingyun. However, Li He and Yang Yunfan were going to sacrifice him to create a chance for them to escape. This action was too despicable and shameless. As expected, a dog can't change its habits. Seeing Li He and Yang Yunfan's actions, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with disdain. He said disdainfully, "Humph, I let you escape last time. This time, you won't be so lucky." 9x9 Azure, Sea Mysterious Ice Dragon, Capturing Hand. As Mo Qingyun's words fell, he attacked Li He and Yang Yunfan with his palms, sending out 2 terrifying waves of Yuan Qi. The 2 waves of Yuan Qi turned into 2 huge blue palms that pierced through the sky and grabbed at Li He and Yang Yunfan. Soon, Li He and Yang Yunfan were caught by the blue palms. Then, the blue palms turned into giant ice palms that tightly grasped Li He and Yang Yunfan. Law of Water missed. Seeing that he was caught by the ice palms, Li He did not dare to hesitate. He immediately activated the power of the Law of Water. Under the impact of the Law of Water, the ice palms that were holding him instantly dissipated and turned into mist. Seeing that the ice palms had dissipated, Li He did not dare to waste any time and immediately rushed out of the Heaven Spirit Tomb. As for Yang Yunfan's life or death, it was completely thrown to the back of his mind. Right now, the most important thing was to protect his own life. "I forgot that you have comprehended the Law of Water." Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly when he saw Li He escape from the Heaven Spirit Tomb. He revealed a look of understanding. However, he did not continue to chase after Li He. In his opinion, capturing Song Jian was enough. Chapter 1071. Mo Qingyun withdrew his gaze from Li He and made a grabbing motion in the air, bringing Yang Yunfan and Song Jian before him. Gucci, let me explain. Back then, I was bewitched by Li He. That's why Yang Yunfan was terrified when he saw Mo Qingyun bring him before him. He hurriedly explained to Mo Qingyun. "Haha, is that so?" Mo Qingyun laughed in disdain when he heard Yang Yunfan's lame excuse. His expression darkened as he directly raised his hand and pinched Yang Yunfan's head. He coldly said, "Since it was Li He who caused you to end up like this, remember to take revenge on Li He after you reincarnate." When he spoke up to this point, Mo Qingyun suddenly smiled brilliantly and said, "I almost forgot to tell you that Li He will be accompanying all of you soon. So, you won't have the chance to take revenge." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he tightened his grip on Yang Yunfan's head, causing it to deform. No. Yang Yunfan immediately spat out a mouthful of blood as his head was deformed by Mo Qingyun's grip. His face was filled with fear and pleading. However, Mo Qingyun chose to ignore his pleading. Crack, the crisp sound of bones cracking rang out. Yang Yunfan's eyes widened as his body went limp. He died with his eyes wide open. Song Jian's body trembled when he saw Yang Yunfan's death. His eyes were filled with fear as he said in a panic, I don't think I have any enmity with you. Can you spare me this once? Do you have any enmity with me?" Mo Qingyun asked Song Jian in return. Before Song Jian could reply, his expression turned cold as he said coldly, "Let's not talk about the fact that you took something that didn't belong to you. You also schemed to injure Tai Tu Sovereign. I won't let you off either." Mo Qingyun did not wait for Song Jian to speak before he struck out with his palm, killing Song Jian on the spot. After killing Song Jian, Mo Qingyun brought his corpse to a secluded place. Then, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and entered the five-direction pagoda. After entering the five-directional pagoda, Mo Qingyun did not delay any longer and immediately began to draw Song Jian's blood. As the blood in his body was extracted by Mo Qingyun, Song Jian's body shriveled up bit by bit. Finally, he became a bag of bones. After extracting Song Jian's blood, Mo Qingyun immediately refined it to increase the strength of his heavenly soul demon bloodline. As Mo Qingyun refined Song Jian's blood, the devil aura emanating from his body grew stronger and stronger. The devil shadow condensed outside his body also became more and more solid. In the end, the devil shadow completely materialized and became a true demon god. When the demon god shadow took shape, Song Jian's blood was completely refined by Mo Qingyun. At this moment, the demon god shadow outside Mo Qingyun's body suddenly emitted a shocking aura. It directly enveloped Mo Qingyun. Under this shocking aura, Mo Qingyun directly lost his ability to move. The blood in his body was like boiling water, churning violently. Bloodline atavism. Sensing the situation in his body, Mo Qingyun's expression suddenly changed. He was greatly shocked by the situation in his body. Of course, while Mo Qingyun was shocked, he was more than happy. According to the description of the heavenly soul demon clan in his mind, the probability of bloodline atavism was very small. Once the bloodline atavism was carried out, the strength of the bloodline would undergo a qualitative change and produce a new talent, bloodline oppression. When fighting with others, as long as he released bloodline oppression, he could directly crush the blood vessels of those with lower bloodlines and kill them. After about a few hours, the burning sensation in Mo Qingyun's body finally disappeared. This meant that the bloodline atavism was over. At the same time, the demon god shadow outside Mo Qingyun's body also disappeared. Seeing that the bloodline atavism was over, Mo Qingyun stood up, stretched his arms, and sensed the changes in his body. Bloodline oppression. After adapting to the changes in his body, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately released bloodline oppression. Bang! A terrifying blood-red light burst out from Mo Qingyun's body and turned into a shock wave that blasted into the surroundings. Under the shock wave of the blood-red light, the space in the five-directional towers trembled as if it could not withstand the blood-red shock wave. What a terrifying bloodline oppression. Its power is actually comparable to the attack of a sovereign realm expert. Seeing the power of the bloodline oppression, Mo Qingyun was shocked. His eyes widened as he said in shock, How is this possible? According to the records in my mind, the bloodline oppression seems to be just an oppressive aura and is not a real divine ability. How can my bloodline oppression be like this? Could it be that my bloodline oppression has mutated? Forget it. Let's not think about it. I'll know in the future. After this thought appeared, Mo Qingyun shook his head and felt that it was somewhat impossible. Then, Mo Qingyun stopped thinking about it and checked the changes in his body again. After a round of checking, Mo Qingyun had a clear understanding of his situation and said, after the bloodline atavism, the strength of my body has directly increased from the peak of precious weapon to the level of intermediate spiritual weapon. Now, my body can be considered as a human-shaped weapon. With the cultivation of Li He and the others, the weapons they used were only peak spiritual weapons. The majority of half-exalted realm experts used intermediate spiritual weapons. Therefore, it was not unreasonable for Mo Qingyun to describe his body in this way. My cultivation has broken through to the half-exalted realm. After sensing the changes in his body, Mo Qingyun's expression suddenly changed and a trace of surprise appeared. He really did not expect that his cultivation would reach the half-exalted realm without any cultivation. Half-exalted realm. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly when he saw that his cultivation had broken through to the half-reverend level. He muttered to himself, "With my current strength, I'm afraid that I can put up a fight against Li He even if I don't use any of my trump cards. However, it will still be quite difficult to kill him. Since I've already killed Song Jian and the others, it's time to leave the Heaven Spirit Tomb." Looking at the corpses of Song Jian and the others in front of him, Mo Qingyun inwardly sighed and prepared to leave the Five Directions small pagoda. However, just as Mo Qingyun was about to leave the Five Directions small pagoda, his expression suddenly changed, and he expectantly said, "That's right. Yang Yunfan and Yi Feiyang have controlled the two divine mountains for so many years and should have quite a few treasures in their hands. Song Jian has also stayed in the Heaven Spirit Tomb for a long time, so he should have quite a few treasures on him." Chapter 1072. Just as Mo Qingyun had guessed, Yang Yunfan and Yi Feiyang's Qinkuan bags contained quite a few good things. There were over 100 spirit artifacts. Among them, there were 3 top-grade spirit artifacts, more than 10 high-grade spirit artifacts, and the rest were all middle-grade spirit artifacts. With the nourishment of these spirit artifacts, the immortal Burning War Halberd's grade should be able to rise to another level. Looking at the 100 spirit artifacts in front of him, Mo Qingyun's face immediately revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. His expression became somewhat excited, following which Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and continued to count the items in Yang Yunfan and Yi Feiyang's collection. After a round of counting, Mo Qingyun discovered that there were still many martial arts manuals, pills, and various materials in Yi Feiyang's Qinkuan bags. After seeing these items, Mo Qingyun felt slightly disappointed. Other than the materials that were useful to him, these pills and martial arts manuals were useless. After putting away the various materials, Mo Qingyun separated the martial arts manuals and pills, preparing to hand them over to Qi Lian when the time came. Pada! At this moment, when Mo Qingyun was putting away the martial arts manuals and other items, a few small stones with spirit energy flowing around them fell in front of him. What a strange stone! It actually contains such abundant spirit energy. Picking up the stone in front of him, Mo Qingyun carefully looked at it, his eyes revealing a look of curiosity. After a careful observation, Mo Qingyun still could not see the origin of these stone platforms. He helplessly shook his head and said, "For these stones to be collected by Yi Feiyang and Yi Feiyang, their origins must not be simple. I'll let Senior He Xian and the others take a look later." From Mo Qingyun's point of view, He Xian and the others came from the Wild Continent, so they should have much more experience than him. Perhaps they would know the origin of these stones. Song Jian stayed in the Heaven Spirit Tomb for a long time, so he should have a lot of good things on him. After putting away the stones, Mo Qingyun revealed an expression of anticipation as he opened Song Jian's Qinkuan bag. After a round of inspection, Mo Qingyun suddenly showed a shocked expression. He was shocked by Song Jian's collection. Although Song Jian was not as strong as Li He and the other two, his collection was far more valuable and rich than Yang Yunfan and the other two. 3 broken king artifacts, 9 top-grade spirit artifacts, 100 high-grade spirit artifacts, 326 middle-grade spirit artifacts, and over 1,000 elementary grade spirit artifacts. After counting the number of spirit tools in Song Jian's Qinkuan bag, Mo Qingyun was instantly stunned. He couldn't help but secretly exclaim that this guy was really rich. In addition, Song Jian's Qinkuan bag also contained over 10,000 of those strange stones from before. Over 10,000? Mo Qingyun revealed a shocked expression as he carefully put away the strange stones. He sighed with emotion. It seems that Song Jian really found quite a few treasures in the Heaven Spirit Tomb. After storing these strange stones, Mo Qingyun separated the martial arts manuals and the pills and began to check the other materials. Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up when he saw a multicolored stone after he took stock of the items. This was the five-colored heaven repairing stone. He didn't expect that Song Jian's Qinkuan bag would actually have a five-colored heaven repairing stone. This was really an unexpected gain. With this five-colored heaven repairing stone, Baldy's injuries can be cured. Looking at the fist-sized five-colored heaven repairing stone, Mo Qingyun happily put it away and continued to check the other items. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun was checking the other items, a shocking burning power was emitted from a fingernail-sized blood-colored crystal. Under this burning power, Mo Qingyun's fingers were immediately burned yellow, and the skin on the surface was directly burned to death. What a terrifying flame power! Looking at the blood-colored crystal in front of him, Mo Qingyun was shocked. He was shocked by the burning power of this blood-colored crystal. His current physical strength had already reached the level of a mid-grade spiritual weapon. Just by touching it, his skin was burned to death. This showed how terrifying the burning power of this blood-colored crystal was. If an ordinary half-venerable realm expert was burned by this strange blood-colored crystal, he would probably lose half of his arm. After calming down the shock in his heart, Mo Qingyun released a wisp of origin energy and carefully lifted the blood-colored crystal to observe it carefully. After observing it for a while, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and vaguely guessed the origin of this crystal. Then, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He raised his hand and formed a hand seal, then pointed at the blood-colored crystal. Under Mo Qingyun's hand seal, the blood-colored crystal suddenly shone brightly and emitted a stronger heat wave. Chirp! A bird's cry came out from the blood-colored crystal. Then, a flaming figure flew out from the blood-colored crystal and emitted a destructive aura. This was the shadow of the primordial divine beast, the phoenix. After seeing the phoenix shadow before him, Mo Qingyun's guess was confirmed. He knew what this blood-colored crystal was. Nirvana blood essence. It was formed from the blood essence of the phoenix when it was reborn. It was extremely rare and precious. Nirvana blood essence. I didn't expect that Song Jian would actually have a Nirvana blood essence. After knowing the origin of the blood-colored crystal, Mo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised. He smiled faintly and said, "With the help of this Nirvana blood essence, even if Baldy's treasure elephant small world is destroyed, it can still be reborn." After Mo Qingyun found the Nirvana blood essence, Mo Qingyun didn't find any precious items. The remaining items were all ordinary materials. However, Mo Qingyun didn't feel dissatisfied with this. After all, his harvest this time was already enough. Since I've finished counting the spoils of war, it's time to return. After putting away the items in front of him, Mo Qingyun happily stood up and left the five-directional pagoda. Apart from letting Li He escape, the trip to the Heavenly Spirit Tomb was very successful. After leaving the Heavenly Spirit Tomb, Mo Qingyun directly headed to the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain to treat Sovereign Taitu's injuries. After all, the Treasure Elephant Small World's injuries were very important. If he wasn't careful, it could affect his later cultivation. After that, Mo Qingyun's clone took his place and entered the five-directional pagoda to cultivate. Now that his laws of fire had reached perfection, Mo Qingyun tried to comprehend other laws. In order to better cultivate the celestial raging flame technique, Mo Qingyun chose to comprehend the laws of water first. Since Mo Qingyun didn't comprehend the laws of water in his previous life, it was clearly much harder for him to comprehend the laws of water than the laws of fire. 3 months later in the five-directional pagoda. During these 3 months, although Mo Qingyun wholeheartedly comprehended the laws of water, he still didn't make any progress. Looks like it's not easy to comprehend the power of law before reaching the sovereign stage. Seeing that there was no progress after several months, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but sigh. He understood the difficulty of comprehending a new law. This sovereign has already reached the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain, Chapter 1073. He's already here? Mo Qingyun was stunned when he received the message from his clone. He shook his head and sighed. It looks like I'll have to wait until I have time to comprehend the laws of water. Mo Qingyun muttered to himself before leaving the five-directional pagoda in a flash. Mo Qingyun put his clone back into the five-directional pagoda and made his way into the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain. Senior Mo. The disciples of the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain were extremely familiar with Mo Qingyun by now. They all bowed when they saw Mo Qingyun approach. Mo Qingyun nodded in response. Mo Qingyun didn't waste any time after entering the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain. He headed straight for Supremacy, Su Chao's residence. When Mo Qingyun arrived at Supremacy, Su Chao's residence, Qi Lian, He Xian, and the Iron Wing just so happened to be there. They were discussing some matters with Supremacy, Su Chao. Everyone's here, looking at He Xian and the others in front of him. Mo Qingyun greeted them with a faint smile and quickly walked up to them. Qingyun's back. Young lord, you back. Master. He Xian and the others were pleasantly surprised when they saw Mo Qingyun approach. They all greeted Mo Qingyun. Everyone take a seat. Mo Qingyun spread his hands with a faint smile when he saw everyone's reaction, indicating that they didn't need to stand. Master, why did you take almost 2 years to hunt down Song Jian? Supremacy, Su Chao asked Mo Qingyun curiously after he sat down. He Xian and the others were also curious when they heard Supremacy, Su Chao's question. They waited for Mo Qingyun's reply. It was originally going quite smoothly, but then something happened. Song Jian actually entered the Heaven Spirit Tomb. When he heard Exalt Su Chao's question, Mo Qingyun spoke helplessly. Later on, I entered the Heaven Spirit Tomb as well. However, not only was I unable to find Song Jian, I was even besieged by Li He and the others. I had no choice but to enter a secret realm, and I stayed there for over a year. Next, Mo Qingyun gave a simple account of his experience in the Heaven Spirit Tomb. Heaven Spirit Tomb? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the expressions of utmost exalted Su Chao and the others all turned serious. They revealed intense worry. They had heard of the dangers of the Heaven Spirit Tomb, but they didn't expect that Mo Qingyun had entered the tomb after not returning for 2 years. Moreover, he was being chased by Li He and the other two in the Heaven Spirit Tomb. This was truly dangerous. However, when he heard that Mo Qingyun had killed Yi Feiyang, Yang Yunfan, and Song Jian, Exalt Su Chao was extremely shocked. Yi Feiyang and Yang Yunfan were both late-stage exalted experts. Who would have thought that Mo Qingyun would still be able to kill them? From this, one could see just how shocking Mo Qingyun's battle prowess was. After telling everyone about the Heaven's Spirit Tomb, Mo Qingyun revealed a confused expression. He asked, Su Chao, what happened to your martial uncle Tai Tu? Martial uncle Tai Tu? When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, Exalt Su Chao's expression immediately changed. He revealed a troubled expression. Not only did Exalt Su Chao look troubled, but He Xian and the others also had heavy expressions. They didn't know how to explain it to Mo Qingyun. They really couldn't tell Mo Qingyun that Exalt Tai Tu's small world had shattered. After all, this matter was a little too serious. With Mo Qingyun's insight, he could naturally guess that something bad had happened when he saw Exalt Su Chao's reaction. Something had happened to Exalt Tai Tu. What did Tai Tu say? Hurry up and take me to see him. When he guessed that something had happened to Exalt Tai Tu, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer. He immediately stood up from the stone bench. Understood. Exalt Su Chao nodded when he heard Mo Qingyun's orders. He led Mo Qingyun over to see Exalt Tai Tu. Following that, the crowd and Mo Qingyun headed to Ironhead Exalted's residence. Soon, Mo Qingyun arrived outside Exalt Tai Tu's room. He pushed open the door and walked in, only to see Exalt Tai Tu lying on the bed. There's no aura of ki at all. Could it be? When he couldn't sense Exalt Tai Tu's ki, Mo Qingyun's expression changed drastically. He guessed the worst possible outcome. From the looks of it, Exalt Tai's small world had most likely collapsed. As soon as this thought crossed his mind, Emo Qingyun walked up to Exalt Tai and raised his hand to check on him. After some investigation, Emo Qingyun became silent. His complexion became very ugly as he said in a cold voice, "Su Chao, tell me honestly, what the hell happened? How did Tai's small world shatter?" "Understood." Exalt Su Chao nodded. He no longer hid anything from Emo Qingyun. He told him everything that had happened. Emo Qingyun's expression turned even uglier when he heard Exalt Su Chao's story. A strong murderous intent erupted from his body. He roared furiously, "Li He, how dare you collude with the demons? If I see you again, I'll tear you to pieces." "Gu, Qingyun, those demons are very strong. Furthermore, there might be someone even stronger backing them. You can't go looking for them recklessly." Exalt Tai smiled sadly when he saw Emo Qingyun's furious expression. He tried to persuade Emo Qingyun. Emo Qingyun's expression improved slightly when he heard Exalt Tai's words. He comforted him, "Tai, don't worry. Not only did I find a 5-colored Skyman stone in the Heaven Spirit tomb, but I also found a piece of Nirvana blood essence. Once I refine the Nirvana Skyman pill, you'll be able to reconstruct your small world." The Nirvana Skyman pill. Exalt Tai's eyes immediately lit up when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. His face was filled with intense anticipation. It seemed like he didn't want to spend the rest of his life lying on a bed like a cripple. "All right, get some rest. I'll go refine the Nirvana Skyman pill right now." Emo Qingyun walked out of the room after comforting Exalt Tai. He didn't want to disturb Tai's rest. When Emo Qingyun walked out of the room, He Xian and the others followed as well. They all left Tai's room. When Emo Qingyun saw He Xian and the others follow him, he took out the strange stones and asked, "Senior He Xian, do you know the origins of these strange stones?" "Immortal stones?" He Xian and Iron Wing's expressions changed when they saw the stones in Emo Qingyun's hand. They were both surprised. Clearly, the two of them were extremely surprised that Emo Qingyun possessed immortal stones. Immortal stones? Emo Qingyun was surprised when he heard this. He looked at He Xian expectantly, waiting for him to clear up his doubts. Seeing Emo Qingyun's expectant expression, He Xian didn't beat around the bush and went straight to the point. Immortal stones are a type of spirit stone used for cultivation on the Wildlands continent, just like elemental spirit stones on the Tianhan continent. However, you being able to obtain immortal stones on the Tianhan continent is beyond my expectations. So if it's the same as elemental spirit stones, a cultivation spirit stone found on the Wildlands continent, it looks like it's just a very common item on the Wildlands continent. Emo Qingyun couldn't help but feel disappointed when he heard the history of the stones. After all this time, it turned out that the stones were worthless. Chapter 1074. Emo Qingyun was a little disappointed to learn that the immortal stone wasn't precious, but he still carefully put it away. Immortal stones weren't precious, but they could be used as starting capital when he entered the Wastelands continent. There are a few spirit weapons here. Everyone, come and take a look. Pick one that suits you. Emo Qingyun took out all the spirit weapons he'd obtained, allowing Qi Lian and the others to choose. Everyone's cultivation had increased by leaps and bounds. The weapons they'd used before couldn't keep up with the pace anymore. Of course, Emo Qingyun didn't take out the 3 Broken King weapons. First, they were completely broken. They couldn't even compare to mid-grade spirit weapons. Secondly, there was probably no one in the Tianhan continent who had the ability to repair it. Thus, Emo Qingyun decided to leave them for the immortal immolation war halberd to devour and raise its grade. Clang, clang, clang. Over 1,000 spiritual artifact weapons appeared. Immediately, the sound of weapons clashing could be heard, giving off a shockingly sharp aura. Looking at the thousands of spirit weapons before them, Supreme Zancho and the others were completely flabbergasted. They were completely flabbergasted by the sight before them. It wasn't just Supreme Su Chao and the others who were shocked. Tai Yi and He Xian were shocked as well. They were extremely surprised by Mo Qingyun's actions. Though they'd seen immortal weapons before, this was the first time they'd seen so many spirit weapons on the Tianhan continent. Master, you didn't rob the celestial soldier Sacred Mountain, did you? There probably aren't that many spirit weapons in the entire celestial soldier Sacred Mountain. Supremacy Sunrise and Qin Yongjun smiled wryly at the sight of over 1,000 spirit weapons. They were completely convinced by Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun only smiled faintly in response to the two of them. He did not provide any explanation. He said indifferently, "Pick out some of the intact spiritual artifacts and distribute them to the elders of the sect with advanced abilities or higher. I have other uses for the remaining damaged spiritual artifacts later." All right, everyone nodded and began to choose their spiritual tools. In the end, Iron Wing chose an Eagle Claw high-grade spirit artifact. Heixian chose a top-grade spear, and Qi Lian chose a top-grade spirit artifact, Blood Bead. Supreme Su Chao didn't choose one for himself, because he already had a high-grade spirit artifact, a folding fan. As for Qin Yongjun, after a round of selection, she chose a crescent blade, which was a high-grade spirit weapon. After everyone was done choosing their weapons, Qi Lian and Supreme Su Chao picked out some weapons for the elders of their respective factions. In the end, Qi Lian and Supreme Su Chao picked out a total of 536 undamaged spiritual artifacts and distributed them to the elders of the sect. The remaining 1,000 broken spiritual weapons were collected by Mo Qingyun again, ready to be devoured by the immortal burning halberd later. Qi Lian, this cosmos sack contains the corpses of Yi Feiyang, Yang Yunfan, and Song Jian. Take it. After distributing the spiritual weapons, Mo Qingyun took out a cosmos sack and handed it to Qi Lian. "Thank you, young lord." Qi Lian was overjoyed when he received the cosmos sack from Mo Qingyun. His eyes flickered with a hint of bloodlust. Even though his cultivation had reached the 9-heaven supreme realm, he was no longer able to achieve a breakthrough by refining enough blood essence like before. However, Yang Yunfan and the others were 9-heaven supremes in the intermediate and late-stage 9-heaven supreme realm. He would still benefit greatly from refining their corpses. Seeing that everything was settled, Mo Qingyun did not delay any further. He asked Supreme Su Chao to prepare a quiet secret room for him to refine the Nirvana sky-mending pill. A moment later, Mo Qingyun arrived at the secret room that Supreme Su Chao had prepared for him. He asked Supreme Su Chao, Qin Yongjun, Qiu Yi, and the others to stay in the secret room. The Nirvana sky-mending pill was an honorable grade pill. It was extremely difficult to gather the ingredients to refine it. Under normal circumstances, it would be difficult to refine it even once. Now that there was such an opportunity, Mo Qingyun naturally wanted to let Supreme Su Chao and the others observe the process of refining the honorable grade pill. However, refining the Nirvana sky-mending pill was extremely difficult. Mo Qingyun did not dare to be distracted and explain it to them one by one during the refining process. He had no choice. Even though Mo Qingyun was a pill venerate in his previous life, he was not confident that he could refine every single honorable grade pill. In particular, he had only heard of a heaven-defying pill like the Nirvana sky-mending pill in his previous life. He had never refined it before. Dong! Mo Qingyun took out the sacred beast cauldron. It landed on the ground with a loud thud. Following this, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate any longer. He directly inserted the martial spirit fire into it. After inserting the martial spirit fire into the sacred beast cauldron, Mo Qingyun placed the ingredients one by one into the sacred beast cauldron to refine them. The difficulty of refining the honorable grade pill was undoubtedly much greater. Under the refining of the martial spirit fire, there was almost no change. Law of fire, scorching heat. Seeing the scene before him, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate any longer. He immediately activated the scorching heat characteristic of the law of fire and added it to the martial spirit fire. Since he wanted to refine the ingredients and not burn them, Mo Qingyun chose the scorching heat characteristic of a law of fire. Under the enhancement of the scorching heat characteristic, the temperature of the martial spirit fire continued to rise, and the refining efficiency immediately increased by a lot. Gradually, the ingredients in the sacred beast cauldron melted into a green liquid bit by bit, emitting a pure medicinal energy. As for the impurities contained in the ingredients, they turned into wisps of black smoke and evaporated under the refining of the martial spirit's power. After a while, seeing that the ingredients in the sacred beast cauldron were almost refined, Mo Qingyun placed the five-colored sky restoration stone and the nirvana blood essence into the sacred beast cauldron. After the five-colored sky restoration stone was placed into the sacred beast cauldron, it turned into a ball of five-colored light and wrapped around the ingredients. As for the nirvana blood essence, it turned into the shadow of a phoenix and flew into the green liquid, using the liquid as its nest. Following that, the nirvana blood essence began to burn itself, completely turning into a ball of flame, as if a phoenix was being reborn. As the nirvana blood essence burned, the energy contained within it seeped into the liquid bit by bit. Not only that, when the nirvana blood essence burned, the five-colored sky restoration stone also melted bit by bit, merging with the green liquid. This process continued for several hours before it slowly came to a stop. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and began to compress the liquid, condense it, and form it into a pill. Whoosh! A ray of five-colored light suddenly bloomed from the sacred beast cauldron and shot into the sky, turning into a beautiful and illusory scene. An elixir image had appeared. One could only see a giant flaming bird with a body of 10,000 feet flying in the sky that had a hole in it. Finally, it turned into a giant flaming rock and filled the hole in the sky. It's done. Seeing the elixir image appear, Mo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised. He took out the nirvana heavenly elixir from the sacred beast cauldron. Following that, a flaming elixir with five-colored light circulating around it flew into Mo Qingyun's hand. Chapter 1075. It's a success. Master did it. Uncle Master Tai, too, can be saved. So this is a supreme grade pill. What terrifying medicinal energy. With this nirvana skin-mending pill, Uncle Master Tai 2's precious elephant small world can be restored. If alchemist Yueqing knows that Master refined the nirvana sky-mending pill with his cultivation at the half-venerable realm, he will definitely be shocked. Supreme Su Chao and the others were pleasantly surprised when they saw the nirvana skin-mending pill in front of them. They spoke excitedly. All right, I'll give a nirvana skin-mending pill to Tai 2 first. The rest of you stay here and carefully recall the process of refining the pill. Mo Qingyun said to Autarch Su Chao and the others, then stood up and walked out of the secret room. He had Autarch Su Chao and the others remain in the secret room and reflect on his alchemy techniques. Supreme Su Chao and the others didn't hesitate at all when they heard Mo Qingyun's instructions. They immediately immersed themselves in their memories and comprehension. After leaving the secret room, Mo Qingyun went straight to Tai 2's residence. He pushed open the door and entered. Perhaps because he knew that there was hope for his precious elephant small world to be restored. Tai 2's complexion was quite good today. He gave off a refreshing feeling. This should be what people often said. People were in high spirits when faced with happy events. Qingyun, you're here. How's the pill refining? Tai 2 asked eagerly when he saw Mo Qingyun approaching. He had an expectant look on his face. As soon as Ironhead Supremacy finished speaking, an expectant look appeared in his eyes. His expression tensed up. Mo Qingyun's answer would determine whether or not his precious elephant small world could be restored. Seeing Tai 2's expression, Mo Qingyun didn't keep him in suspense. He smiled faintly and said, "My luck is not bad. The refining was a success." It was a success. Tai 2's face flushed red when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He was extremely excited. The nirvana sky-mending pill had been successfully refined. His precious elephant small world could be restored. This jade bottle contains the Nirvana sky-mending pill. Consume it now. I will protect you from the side. Mo Qingyun took out a jade bottle and handed it to Supreme Tai Tu. He then sat down beside Supreme Tai Tu. All right. Ironhead nodded heavily as he looked at Mo Qingyun's jade bottle. He didn't say anything to Mo Qingyun. At this moment, his expression had completely expressed his gratitude. Nothing needed to be said. After the Nirvana skin-mending pill was taken out by Supreme Exalt Tai Tu, it immediately blossomed with dazzling five-colored light and emanated an astonishing wave of medicinal origin energy. What astonishing medicinal elemental energy! Supreme Ironhead said in shock as he looked at the Nirvana Skymender pill in his hand. Then he swallowed it. When the Nirvana heavenly mending pill entered his stomach, it emitted a shocking heat wave that instantly filled Tai Tu Supreme's meridians. Supreme Tai Tu couldn't help but cry out miserably under the impact of the medicinal elemental energy. His face turned purplish black, as if he was enduring great pain. Mo Qingyun frowned slightly when he saw Supreme Tai Tu's reaction. He became nervous and thought to himself, the medicinal elemental energy of the Nirvana Skymender pill is too strong. Tai Tu's body won't be able to withstand it. I have to help him stabilize the medicinal elemental energy. With that thought, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He sent a strand of energy into Supreme Tai Tu's body. When Mo Qingyun's energy entered Supreme Tai Tu's body, it was immediately impacted by the domineering medicinal elemental energy. It was like being rammed by an army of thousands. Given how domineering the medicinal elemental energy was, a weaker transcendent powerhouse would probably explode and die instantly if they were hit by it. One could imagine how great the impact was on Supreme Tai Tu's meridians and how resplendent they were. Fortunately, Supreme Tai Tu was a body-tempering cultivator. His physique was far superior to ordinary cultivators. If it was an ordinary transcendent powerhouse, their meridians would probably have been destroyed by the medicinal elemental energy. When he saw this, Mo Qingyun didn't dare delay any longer. He immediately controlled his energy to suppress the medicinal elemental energy. Under the suppression of Mo Qingyun's energy, the domineering medicinal elemental energy in Supreme Tai Tu's body was immediately alleviated. However, it was still unbearable for ordinary people. When a medicinal elemental energy stabilized under the suppression of Mo Qingyun's energy, Supreme Tai Tu's pain lessened significantly. He was able to avoid the danger of his body exploding and dying. However, Mo Qingyun didn't relax. He continued to suppress the medicinal elemental energy while helping Supreme Tai Tu tidy up the flow of the medicinal elemental energy. Fortunately, Mo Qingyun's spiritual power was strong. If it was someone else doing this, they would probably die from the exhaustion of their spiritual power. As the saying went, it was better to let it out than to block it. Thanks to Mo Qingyun's arrangement, the medicinal origin energy in Tai Tu's body gradually stabilized. As the medicinal elemental energy in his body stabilized, Ironhead began to circulate it within his body, refining and absorbing it bit by bit. As he continued to refine and absorb the medicinal energy within his body, Prime Ironhead's aura began to rise, slowly returning to his peak state. At the same time, Paragon Ironhead also began to reconstruct the treasure elephant's small world. First, he condensed the Heavenly Dipper diagram. Then he condensed the Divine Ability Treasure Elephant and fused it with the power of laws. Mo Qingyun relaxed as he watched Ironhead Prime remodel the elephant's miniature world. He withdrew his elemental energy from Ironhead Prime's body. After that, Mo Qingyun stayed in the room for a while. When he saw that Tai Tu was completely fine, he got up and left the room. After leaving Sovereign Tai Tu's room, Mo Qingyun remembered that Huangguan and the others were still on the Fortune mainland. Hence, he decided to move them to the Heavenly Soul mainland. Huangguan, I'm going to move all of you to the Heavenly Soul mainland. Do not resist. Mo Qingyun sent a transmission to Huangguan, explaining some things that they needed to pay attention to. He added, "Also, I don't know if the Devil Suppression Abyss's formation will still affect you. Find someone to test it out." "Yes," Huangguan respectfully replied and arranged for a death row prisoner to be tested. Then, Mo Qingyun moved this death row prisoner out of the Fortune mainland. In the next second, a death row prisoner appeared in front of Mo Qingyun. There was shock, confusion, and excitement on his face. Mo Qingyun's expression relaxed when he saw that the death row prisoner didn't explode immediately. He thought to himself, "It seems like the Devil Suppression Abyss's formation has a distance requirement on Huangguan and the others. It won't be effective beyond the range of the formation." However, for safety's sake, Mo Qingyun didn't move Huangguan and the others out immediately. Instead, he continued to observe the death row prisoner's condition. Several hours later, when Mo Qingyun saw that Huangguan was safe and sound, his heart was finally at ease. He moved Huangguan and the others out of the Fortune mainland. When Huangguan and the others came out of the Fortune mainland, Supreme Su Chao and the others immediately sensed their auras and rushed over. When Qin Yongjun saw that it was Huangguan and the others, she introduced them to Supreme Su Chao and the others. Chapter 1076. Qilian, make a trip back to the Qing Yun Palace immediately and bring 50,000 demons over. After settling Huangguan and the rest, Mo Qingyun turned to look at Qilian and instructed him. His expression gradually turned cold as he said, "There are some debts that should be settled." "Settle debts?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qilian was slightly stunned for a moment before he understood Mo Qingyun's thoughts. Mo Qingyun was planning to start with the 3 great sacred mountains. Yes, after understanding Mo Qingyun's thoughts, Qilian did not stay any longer and immediately set off to leave the Heavenly Pool sacred mountain. After Qilian left, Mo Qingyun conversed with the rest for a while before returning to his room. "Oh right, Huangguan comprehended the law of water. Perhaps I can get a breakthrough in comprehending the law of water from him." When he was heading to his residence, Mo Qingyun's eyes suddenly lit up as he thought of a way to comprehend the law of water. After this idea came to mind, Mo Qingyun sent a soul transmission to Huangguan, asking him to come see him after he settled down. "Master, your subordinate requests an audience." Several hours later, Huangguan's voice came from outside the room. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun waved his hand and opened the door to let Huangguan in. "Huangguan, now that my law of fire has reached perfection, I'm preparing to comprehend the law of water. Share your cultivation of the law of water with me." Seeing Huangguan enter the room, Mo Qingyun did not beat around the bush and directly instructed him. "The law of fire has reached perfection?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Huangguan's expression immediately twitched and his head buzzed. He clearly remembered that when Mo Qingyun was in the mysterious Yin sect, the law of water did not seem to have reached perfection. Now that only 2 years had passed, Mo Qingyun's law of fire had reached perfection. This speed of improvement was too frightening. Following this, Huangguan saw Mo Qingyun's gaze and became even more impressed and respectful. After sorting out his emotions a little, Huangguan shared his comprehension of the law of water with Mo Qingyun without missing a single detail. After hearing Huangguan share his cultivation experience, Mo Qingyun immediately had a new understanding of the law of water. It turned out that the law of water also had 3 characteristics: healing, ice, and flexibility. The healing characteristic corresponded to recovery, the flexibility characteristic corresponded to defense, and the ice characteristic corresponded to attack. Huangguan comprehended the ice characteristic of the law of water. Next, he explained the ice characteristic of the law of water to Mo Qingyun in detail. After listening to Huangguan's explanation, Mo Qingyun had a clear direction in his understanding of the ice attribute of the law of water. A few days later, Huangguan stopped his narration and said with an ashamed expression, "Master, this subordinate's aptitude is inferior. That's all I've comprehended about the laws of water." It's been hard on you these past few days. You can leave first." After hearing Huang Guan's words, Mo Qingyun did not ask him to stay any longer and waved his hand to let him leave. The direction of my comprehension was indeed wrong. After Huang Guan left the room, Mo Qingyun had a look of realization. He muttered to himself, "I originally thought that the law of water could be divided into 6 types: purification, moisturizing, healing, hardness, flexibility, and ice. I didn't expect the law of water to only have 3 characteristics. So purification and moisturizing are both healing characteristics, while hardness belongs to the ice characteristic. The only matching characteristic is flexibility." Recalling Huang Guan's explanation and matching it with his own comprehension, Mo Qingyun realized that he had made too many mistakes. Now that he had the correct cultivation direction, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He flashed into the 5-directional small pagoda and continued to comprehend the law of water. Huang Guan comprehended the ice characteristic. I also need to comprehend the ice characteristic when I cultivate the second style of the Celestial Fury technique, Prairie Fire. This allows me to take a shortcut. After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He did not dare to delay and immediately immersed himself in cultivation. Although Huang Guan's comprehension of the ice characteristic was only at the initial stage, with his guidance, Mo Qingyun's cultivation speed immediately doubled with half the effort. Therefore, if one wished to have a faster cultivation speed and walk further on the path of cultivation, having a great teacher was very crucial. The reason why Mo Qingyun was able to become a person at the top of the pyramid in the Tianhun continent in this period of time was inseparable from his previous life's cultivation experience. With the correct cultivation direction, the results of his cultivation were immediately apparent. After a short while, a shocking chill spread out from Mo Qingyun's body and spread into the 5-directional small pagoda. Under the influence of this chill, the area several kilometers around Mo Qingyun was quickly covered in a layer of frost. Not only that, but as time passed, the area covered by the frost became wider and wider, and the temperature it emitted became lower and lower. -9,000 degrees, -10,000 degrees, -20,000 degrees, -59,000 degrees, -60,000 degrees. After an indeterminate amount of time, Mo Qingyun's comprehension of the ice characteristic of the law of water began to slow down. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun opened his eyes and withdrew from his cultivation. He muttered to himself, "I've completely comprehended Huang Guan's cultivation experience. From now on, I'll have to rely on my own comprehension." Seeing that Huang Guan had completely comprehended his cultivation experience, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but sigh inwardly. He knew that it would be impossible for him to increase his cultivation speed as quickly as before. "Young lord, your subordinate is here." Just as Mo Qingyun was sighing inwardly, Qi Lian's voice rang out in his mind. "He's already here." When he heard Qi Lian's voice, Mo Qingyun's face lit up. A brilliant smile appeared on his face. "If that's the case, then it's time to go settle accounts with the 3 divine mountains." Following that, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and left the 5-direction pagoda. After exiting the 5-direction pagoda, Mo Qingyun opened the door and walked out. He saw Qi Lian and the others waiting outside. Qi Lian and the others weren't the only ones present. Even Tai Tu was standing outside. Based on Tai Tu's current appearance, his precious elephant's small world had most likely recovered. Moreover, his aura seemed to have become more restrained. Tai Tu's aura seems to have grown stronger. When he sensed Tai Tu's aura, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly. He curiously sensed Tai Tu's cultivation level. Late-stage supremacy? When he sensed Tai Tu's cultivation level, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but be shocked. Tai Tu's cultivation level had actually broken through to the late-stage supremacy. He smiled faintly and said, "Congratulations, Tai Tu. I didn't expect you to profit from this disaster and advance your cultivation level." "Speaking of which, it's all thanks to you." Taitu chuckled happily when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He said, I didn't expect that I would enter a very mysterious state after the reconstruction of my treasure elephant's world. It's like I've gone through a reincarnation cycle. In that mysterious state, the power of my laws of earth has reached perfection. Chapter 1077. It's his own fortune. It has nothing to do with the nirvanic Skyminder pill I refined. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly from Sovereign Taitu's explanation. He felt happy for him. Before Mo Qingyun's previous life, Sovereign Taitu was a mid-sovereign. He had been stuck there for many years, unable to break through. He had never thought that his cultivation would progress further after the destruction and rebirth of the elephant's miniature world while he was heavily injured. It was just as Mo Qingyun had said. His fortune had arrived. All right, since Qi Lian is here, let's go settle our accounts with the three divine mountains. Mo Qingyun was happy for Sovereign Taitu. He did not want to waste any more time, so he prepared to deal with the three divine mountains immediately. Sovereign Taitu and the others became anxious when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They became extremely excited. The moment had finally arrived. He could finally get his revenge for all the pain the three divine mountains had brought him. Mo Qingyun glanced at the excited group before looking at Qi Lian. He asked, Qi Lian, where's Devil right now? Take me there immediately. I want to store them in the 5 directional pagodas first. Young lord, I've told Devil to stay in a valley near the Divine Pool Mountain to avoid causing any disturbances. Qi Lian replied politely. He turned around and flew out of the Divine Pool Mountain. He said, Young lord, please come with me. I'll take you there right now. All right. Mo Qingyun nodded when he saw what Qi Lian had done. He said to the others, Let's go together. Afterwards, Mo Qingyun and the others left the Divine Pool Mountain and made their way to where Devil was hiding. Just like Qi Lian had said, Devil's hiding place was not far away. They arrived at the valley in just a few seconds. As they approached the valley, Mo Qingyun sensed shocking presences coming from the valley. The presences ranged from basic, intermediate, and advanced abilities. There were even a few half-step exalts. Greetings, ruler. The Devils immediately prostrated themselves on the ground and bowed towards Mo Qingyun when they saw Mo Qingyun arrive. No need for formalities. Mo Qingyun waved his hand indifferently when he saw the Devil's actions. Afterwards, he stored them away in the 5 directional pagodas. The reason why Mo Qingyun had kept Demon in the 5 directional pagoda was to prevent her from causing too much of a commotion. If the people from the 3 sacred mountains noticed something was wrong, they would abandon the 3 sacred mountains and flee. The Divine Beast Mountain is closest to the Divine Pool Mountain, so let's go there first. After keeping all the demons into the 5 directional pagodas, Mo Qingyun said to everyone and flew towards the Divine Beast Mountain. When they saw Mo Qingyun flying towards the Divine Beast Mountain, Qi Lian and the others didn't hesitate and hurriedly followed closely behind. 3 days later, with Mo Qingyun and the others flying at full speed, they arrived at the entrance of the Divine Beast Mountain. Stop! This is the Divine Beast Mountain. You can't enter as you please. The disciples guarding the Divine Beast Mountain immediately reprimanded Mo Qingyun and the others when they saw Mo Qingyun and the others. You're asking for it. Qi Lian's face darkened when he heard the disciples' words. He raised his hand and blasted the disciple into dust. How dare you behave so atrociously in the Divine Beast Mountain? You must be tired of living. Seeing Qi Lian's actions, the other disciples guarding the mountain were enraged and shouted at Qi Lian. Not only that, but when they shouted at Qi Lian, they also reported to the Divine Beast Mountain that someone had come to invade the Divine Beast Mountain. Not long after, several auras of the half-martial highness realm flew out from the godly Beast Mountain. The experts of the Divine Beast Mountain had arrived. In addition, there were 2 supremes behind these people. There were also supremes in the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain. This situation surprised Mo Qingyun. He did not expect the divine beast mountain to be so well hidden. Other than Yang Yin Fan, there were two other supremes in the mountain. Of course, with Mo Qingyun's current strength, he was only slightly surprised. He did not feel too emotional. Soon, the people from the divine beast mountain arrived near Mo Qingyun and the others and confronted Mo Qingyun and the others. "Kid, who are you people? How dare you behave atrociously here? Do you know where you are?" When the group from the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain arrived, a 7th-level Divinity Realm youth at the front yelled at Mo Qingyun. "Yang Weirun." Looking at the young man, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly. He had some impression of him. He was Yang Yunfan's only son. He did not expect him to reach the divine beast realm in just a few decades. You know me?" Seeing that Mo Qingyun recognized him, Yang Weirun's expression changed slightly. His eyes flashed with a trace of surprise. After a brief moment of surprise, Yang Weirun revealed an arrogant expression. He raised his head and said to Mo Qingyun, "Kid, since you know who I am, you should know the consequences of offending me. Today, this young lord is in a good mood, so I will give you a chance to live. Kneel down and bark like a dog 3 times, then crawl away like a dog, and this young lord will spare your lives." Hearing Yang Weirun's words, Qi Lian and the others laughed. Their eyes were filled with sympathy and mockery. This Yang Weirun was really an idiot. He didn't even know that he was about to die. He actually dared to show off in front of Mo Qingyun. "Of course I know who you are. The only son of the divine Beast Mountain's sovereign beast, Yang Yin Fan, right?" Hearing Yang Weirun's words, Mo Qingyun smiled mockingly. His expression turned cold as he said, "But today, I came to the divine Beast Mountain to find you. I want to send you to accompany Yang Yin Fan so that he won't be lonely down there." Mo Qingyun's words stunned Yang Weirun and the others. They did not understand what Mo Qingyun meant. From what Mo Qingyun said, he seemed to have come to kill Yang Weirun. Moreover, he seemed to have killed Yang Yin Fan. But was that possible? After a brief moment of shock, Yang Weirun shook his head. He did not believe Mo Qingyun's words. "Ha, did you hear that? He said that he killed my father, and that he wants to send me to accompany my father?" Yang Weirun opened his mouth and laughed as if he had heard the funniest joke. He did not believe Mo Qingyun's words at all. After a few laughs, Yang Weirun's expression turned cold. He looked at Mo Qingyun and said coldly, "Kid, do you know what my father's cultivation is? He's a late-stage supreme being. I'm afraid you haven't even seen a supreme being in your life." Chapter 1078. Yes, young mountain master. Upon hearing Yang Weirun's command, the 2 early-stage supreme being supreme elders of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain released their auras and suppressed Mo Qingyun. Under the pressure of the 2 supreme beings' auras, the space around Mo Qingyun began to tremble, as if it couldn't withstand the pressure of the 2 supreme beings' auras. Yang Weirun immediately revealed a complacent smile when he saw the reactions of the 2 exalted realm experts, and he raised his head to look at Mo Qingyun and said, "Kid, now you know how formidable exalted realm experts are, right? Yo, why aren't you saying anything? Aren't you able to kill a late-stage supreme being? How dare you?" While Yang Weirun was beaming with pride, He Xian and Iron Wing roared and grabbed the 2 supreme being supreme elders of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain. Then, the 2 supreme being supreme elders of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain were captured by He Xian and Iron Wing without any resistance. After capturing the 2 supreme being supreme elders of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain, He Xian and Iron Wing didn't hesitate and grabbed their heads. Crack, crack. A series of bone-cracking sounds rang out. The heads of the 2 supreme being supreme elders of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain were instantly crushed by He Xian and Iron Wing. Then, the bodies of the 2 supreme elders of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain went limp, and the aura on their bodies instantly disappeared. Seeing this scene, the smile on Yang Weirun's face froze. His eyes widened as he stood rooted to the ground. Dead. 2 supreme being supreme elders were killed just like that. Furthermore, The two utmost exalted level supreme elders were completely unable to resist the attacks of those two people. Didn't this mean that the two of them were far stronger than the two supreme elders? They might have reached the mid-stage supreme being or even the late-stage supreme being. When Yang Weiren thought of this, his face turned pale and his expression was filled with fear. At this moment, he couldn't help but feel uneasy. His father might really have been killed by Mo Qingyan. The people in front of him were not country bumpkins who had come to the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain to see the world. They were terrifyingly powerful experts. "Get over here." Mo Qingyan, who didn't pay attention to Yang Weiren's panic, made a grabbing motion in the air. Subsequently, an enormous palm image of origin energy swiftly formed, and like an eagle catching a chick, it grabbed Yang Weiren and brought him before Mo Qingyan. What are you doing?" Looking at Mo Qingyan in front of him, Yang Weiren was so scared that his face trembled, and he was on the verge of tears. "What am I going to do? Shouldn't I be the one asking you that?" Mo Qingyan smiled mockingly. He looked at Yang Weiren and shook his head. "Weren't you very proud just now?" Wasn't she laughing very loudly? "You even wanted to show me the aura of a supreme stage expert. Why aren't you complacent now? Why aren't you smiling anymore?" I can't be complacent anymore. Even a supreme stage supreme elder was killed by you." Hearing Mo Qingyan's question, Yang Weiren instantly felt like dying. He looked as if his father had died and said sadly, "And, moreover, my father is already dead. How can I still laugh?" After speaking, Yang Weiren burst into tears. There was no trace of the domineering young lord of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain. No matter how stupid Yang Weiren was, he knew that Mo Qingyan was telling the truth. Mo Qingyan might really have killed Yang Yunfan. Can't laugh anymore? Looking at the crying Yang Weiren in front of him, Mo Qingyan revealed a look of disdain. He raised his hand and patted Yang Weiren's face. "I couldn't tell that you were so filial. Since that's the case, you can go accompany your father." Crack! As soon as Mo Qingyan finished speaking, his expression turned cold. He directly crushed Yang Weiren's skull. Yang Weiren's eyes widened when Mo Qingyan crushed his skull. He stared at Mo Qingyan in disbelief. He died with his eyes wide open. He couldn't believe that he was the young lord of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain, one of the 9 sacred mountains, and the son of a late-stage supreme stage expert. Today, he would actually die in his own sect. It was too humiliating to die in such a way. "Qilian, I'll leave the rest to you." After killing Yang Weiren, Mo Qingyan ignored the others from the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain. He summoned by Mo and ordered Qilian to deal with the others. Qilian had followed Mo Qingyan for many years. He didn't know how many times he had robbed and robbed along the way, so he was very familiar with this kind of thing. Yes, after receiving Mo Qingyan's instructions, Qilian gave Tai Tu and the others some instructions, then brought by Mo and killed his way into the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain. As for He Xian and Iron Wing, they didn't make a move. Instead, they stood in the air with Mo Qingyan to prevent the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain from escaping. Although the Imperial Beast Divine Mountain was one of the 9 great divine mountains, now that all the Supremes in the sect were dead, the remaining people were no match for Qilian and the others. Facing Qilian and the others, they were immediately slaughtered. Qilian and the others kept reaping their lives. Qilian and Tai Tu showed no mercy to the people of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain. The Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain had caused them so much trouble in the past. Now is the time for an eye for an eye. Let the so-called morality and righteousness go to hell. A few Supremes and 50,000 by Mo joined forces to slaughter. Soon, there was no one left alive in the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain. After slaughtering the entire Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain, Qilian and the others began to divide the work. Bai Mo collected the corpses of the people of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain, while Qilian and the others went to collect the wealth of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain. After a few hours, the corpses of the people of the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountain were gone. They were either collected by the Bai Mo or swallowed by the pagoda. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun kept the Bai Mo into the five-directional pagoda and waited for Qi Lian and the others to return. After a few more hours, Qi Lian and the others, who had gone to plunder the treasures, returned full of joy. Judging from their expressions, they must have gained a lot. Young lord, this is the wealth of the imperial beast, Sacred Mountain. Qi Lian came to Mo Qingyun and took out a Chinquan pouch and handed it to Mo Qingyun respectfully. Mo Qingyun took the Chinquan pouch from Qi Lian and nodded indifferently. He did not immediately check the treasures of the imperial beast, Sacred Mountain. Instead, he kept it in the five-directional pagoda. After keeping the Chinquan pouch, Mo Qingyun looked into the distance. It was the direction of the Sky Spear Sacred Mountain. Since the imperial beast Sacred Mountain has been eliminated, let's go to the Sky Spear Sacred Mountain. Mo Qingyun looked in the direction of the Sky Spear Sacred Mountain. His expression gradually turned cold as he spoke to the others. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he moved and flew towards the Sky Spear Sacred Mountain. Chapter 1079. 2 days later, Mo Qingyun and the rest finally arrived at Sky Spear Mystic Mountain after flying at full speed. After Mo Qingyun and the rest arrived at Sky Spear Mystic Mountain, the situation they encountered was basically similar to that of Imperial Beast Mystic Mountain. First, they were mocked and disdained by the people of Sky Spear Mystic Mountain. Then, they destroyed Sky Spear Mystic Mountain domineeringly and plundered their treasures. Come, let's go to Sky Sword Mystic Mountain. After destroying Sky Spear Mystic Mountain, Mo Qingyun didn't want to waste any more time. He immediately flew towards Sky Sword Mystic Mountain. Seeing Mo Qingyun flying towards Sky Sword Mystic Mountain, Qi Lian and the rest's expressions turned cold. Their bodies emitted intense, killing intent. It was finally Li He's turn. Qi Lian vaguely remembered that Li He had chased after him for millions of miles. In the end, he was forced to use the Blood Shield secret technique and hide in a valley in northern desert town for thousands of years. He would never forget this kind of hatred. Li He, I can finally settle the grudge of the past today. Thinking that he would be able to take revenge soon, Qi Lian unconsciously clenched his fists. The veins on his arms bulged. Just as Qi Lian was making up his mind, Paragon Su Chao and the others reacted in a similar fashion. Now, there was only one person left from Sky Sword Mystic Mountain. When Mo Qingyun and the rest flew, they no longer concealed their auras. As Mo Qingyun and the rest released their auras, the beasts and cultivators that they passed by were so frightened that they knelt on the ground. They didn't dare to get up for a long time. The imposing aura of several Supreme Being experts was indeed very terrifying. 5 days later, Mo Qingyun and the rest arrived at Sky Sword Mystic Mountain. They released their auras and shrouded the entire mountain. Under the auras of Mo Qingyun and the rest, almost half of the buildings that had just been built in Sky Sword Mystic Mountain collapsed instantly. After such a commotion, Sky Sword Mystic Mountain fell into chaos. The disciples with lower cultivations all fled in panic. It didn't take long for Li He and the 3 Exalted Realm experts to arrive near Mo Qingyun and the others. Master, it was the 3 of them who attacked us last time. Supreme Su Chao revealed a look of hatred when he saw the 3 experts of the Demon Clan standing beside Li He. He whispered in Mo Qingyun's ear. Hearing Supreme Su Chao's words, Mo's face turned cold. Murderous intent burst out of his gaze towards the 3 Demon Clan experts. It was these 3 bastards who had caused Paragon Ironhead to self-detonate his precious Elephant Minor World. Therefore, he was determined to get rid of them today. Mo Qingyun, I knew you would come. Today, none of you will leave this place. Li He's Mystic Sky sect, Li He's Demon Clans of the Demon Clans were. Seeing Li He's behavior, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly. He had a vague feeling that something was wrong. Logically speaking, with the strength of Li He and the other 3, they should be afraid and cowardly when facing such a lineup. However, looking at Li He's behavior now, it was as if he had dug a trap and was waiting for them to jump into it. This was a little too abnormal. Did Li He have some kind of backup plan? Before Mo Qingyun and the others could figure it out, Li He laughed complacently. He revealed a playful sneer and said, Mo Qingyun, do you really think that there are only the four of us guarding the sky, sword, sacred mountain? Thump! As soon as Li He said this, Mo Qingyun and the others' expressions immediately changed. A strong sense of unease rose up in their hearts. It was just as they had guessed. Li He really did have a backup plan. But what was it? While Mo Qingyun and the rest were puzzled, a destructive aura came from within sky, sword mystic mountain. Then they saw a black-robed old man riding a single-horned tiger slowly flying over. It's an underworld tiger at the late stage of the sovereign realm. The old man on the underworld tiger is a sovereign realm expert. The expressions of Mo Qingyun and the others instantly turned solemn when they saw the black-robed old man approaching them on the hell tiger. A wisp of fear flashed in their eyes. Sovereign realm expert. The old man was a sovereign realm expert. This time, it was really troublesome. This situation was completely out of their expectations. In a battle between sovereign realm experts, the sudden appearance of sovereign realm expert could change the situation. It was no wonder Li He was so confident. Young lord, what should we do now? We can't deal with a sovereign realm expert. Qi Lian looked solemn when he saw the black-robed old man. He asked for Mo Qingyun's opinion. Tai Tu and the rest looked solemn when they heard Qi Lian's question. They waited for Mo Qingyun's next order. While they were waiting for Mo Qingyun's orders, He Xian suddenly said, Qingyun, the black-robed old man has just entered the sovereign realm. The Iron Wing, and I should be able to hold him back for a while. When the Iron Wing and I hold him back, you take everyone back to Sky Pool Mystic Mountain. Supreme Su Chao and the rest relaxed when they heard He Xian's words. They waited for Mo Qingyun's final decision. No. Mo Qingyun shook his head and rejected He Xian's suggestion. He said solemnly, Senior He Xian, you and the rest will deal with Li He's group and the underworld tiger. As for the black-robed old man, leave him to me. Young lord, you can't. Qingyun, the black-robed old man might have just entered the sovereign realm, but he's easy to deal with. Master, I think Senior He Xian is right. Let's go with a suggestion. He Xian and the others were shocked when they heard Mo Qingyun's decision. They hurriedly tried to persuade Mo Qingyun. However, Mo Qingyun shook his head and interrupted them before they could finish. After interrupting them, Mo Qingyun revealed a solemn expression and said in a low voice, That old man is at the sovereign realm, so the heavenly pool, divine mountain, and green cloud palaces formations can't stop him at all. So, it's useless even if we flee now. Why don't we fight them now? But, if you fight him with your cultivation, I'm afraid. He Xian and the others were still worried when they heard Mo Qingyun's decision. They tried to persuade Mo Qingyun again. Don't worry. Mo Qingyun waved his hand in the face of everyone's persuasion. He comforted them. Although my cultivation realm is lower than yours, my grasp of the power of laws is no weaker than yours. Moreover, in terms of trump cards, you are far inferior to me. Don't worry, nothing will happen to me. Tai Tu and the others fell silent when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They didn't know how to refute Mo Qingyun's words. Mo Qingyun wasn't lying. In terms of trump cards and methods, Mo Qingyun was indeed the strongest among them. Hey, are you guys done discussing? Who wants to die first? Chapter 1080. He Jem and Go Wu. I implore you to kill these fellows. After Li He spoke proudly, he revealed a respectful expression and requested the black-robed old man beside him. Okay. The black-robed old man nodded. He lifted his leg and kicked the hell tiger's abdomen. He came to the front of Li He and the others and said coldly, Juniors, I don't want to waste too much time. All of you can come together. After hearing Sovereign Go Wu's words, Mo Qingyun gave He Xian and the others a look and said in a deep voice, Follow the plan from before. Leave this black-robed old man to me. Okay. After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, He Xian and the others nodded and charged towards Li He and the others. You're crazy. You're actually letting Mo Qingyun deal with Sovereign Go Wu alone. Li's expression changed drastically when he saw He Xian and the others charging towards him. He exclaimed in shock. He couldn't believe that He Xian and the others actually let Mo Qingyun deal with the Sovereign Realm expert Sovereign Go Wu alone. Were they trying to send Mo Qingyun to his death? However, He Xian and the others chose to ignore his question and bombarded him with their strongest attacks. In He Xian and the others' opinion, they could go and help Mo Qingyun after killing Li He and the others as quickly as possible. In addition, while He Xian and the others were dealing with Li He and the others, they also separated a strand of their consciousness to pay attention to Mo Qingyun's situation. Once they discovered that Mo Qingyun was in danger, they would rush over to rescue Mo Qingyun. Sovereign Go Wu's expression instantly turned gloomy when he saw He Xian and the others' actions. He released a terrifying black essence force. He was furious, completely furious. He was a top expert at the Supremacy realm, yet the other party had actually sent a kid at the half-exalt realm to deal with him. This was the greatest insult to him. This kind of thing was really too much. He absolutely could not accept it. You've gone too far. Today, this old man will tear you to pieces. He Jimin Go Wu roared, then controlled the Hell Tiger to chase after He Xian and the others. However, before He Jimin Go Wu could move, his path was blocked. Old man, your opponent is me. Where do you think you're going? Mo Qingyun smiled faintly as he blocked Go Wu's path. After which, he curled his lips in disdain and said, "Don't be upset by my words. I alone am enough to deal with you. Brat, you've got guts to block my way. Since you're tired of living, I'll fulfill your wish." As soon as He Jimin Go Wu finished speaking, he raised his hand and grabbed at Mo Qingyun. A thundercloud like Yuan power blasted out. As Yuan power surged out, the entire world darkened, as if a storm was about to arrive. At the same time, the dark Yuan power in the air transformed into a giant eagle claw that tyrannically swiped at Mo Qingyun. Blazing Sun. In the face of He Jimin Go Wu's tyrannical attack, Mo Qingyun didn't dare to be careless. He immediately used the first move of the Celestial Fury Art. Then, a blue shield of water rapidly formed around his body, emitting a monstrous flame energy. As soon as the Blazing Sun shield formed, the dark eagle claw in the air descended and smashed against the Blazing Sun shield. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Ear-piercing sounds immediately rang out from where the Blazing Sun shield and the dark eagle claw collided. As the ear-piercing sounds rang out, a thick black mist was emitted from where the Blazing Sun shield and the dark eagle claw collided. Then, everyone watched as the dark eagle claw dissipated bit by bit until it completely disappeared. He blocked it. He Jimin Go Wu was stunned when he saw that his full force attack had actually been blocked by Mo Qingyun. He couldn't believe that this was real. One had to know that he was a sovereign powerhouse. Even a sovereign powerhouse who just entered the sovereign realm wasn't someone a half-step sovereign could easily contend with. It had to be said that Mo Qingyun's current performance gave him a very strange feeling. While He Jimin Go Wu was stunned by Mo Qingyun's performance, He Xian and Iron Wing, who had been paying attention to Mo Qingyun, were similarly shocked. They hadn't expected that Mo Qingyun would be able to easily block He Jimin Go Wu's furious attack. The young lord actually managed to block He Jimin Go Wu's attack. That's not right. The technique that the young lord used just now seems to be a fairly powerful immortal art. Immortal art? Could it have been left to the young lord by the previous master? It shouldn't have been left to the young lord by the previous master. The previous master wasn't even an adult when he was alive, so he couldn't have had the time to cultivate an immortal art. He Xian and Iron Wing were puzzled. They didn't know where Mo Qingyun's immortal art had come from. No matter what, the young lord now has the strength to protect himself. He should be able to hold on until we kill Li He's group. Now, let's attack with all our strength and try to kill Li He's group in the shortest time possible. He Xian and Iron Wing relaxed a lot when they learned about Mo Qingyun's situation. They no longer worried about Mo Qingyun's life and went all out to kill Li He's group. As He Xian and Iron Wing went all out, the pressure on Li He's group immediately multiplied. Soon, they fell into a desperate struggle. He blocked it. When he saw that Mo Qingyun had actually resisted his full forced attack, He Jim and Gouwu instantly revealed a shocked expression, and he said, "No, it's absolutely impossible. How could a kid at the Quasi-Exalt realm possibly resist my full forced attack? No, the brow was only able to block my full power attack because of the spell he used just now." Yes, that's the spell. That's an immortal art. After a brief moment of shock, Jim and Crow Gowu's eyes lit up as he realized the crux of the matter. He looked at Mo Qingyun with pleasant surprise. This old man's luck is truly not bad. To think that I'd be able to obtain an immortal art after coming to the Tianhan continent. Brat, I'll give you a chance to live. As long as you tell me the immortal art, I'll spare your puny life. As soon as he finished speaking, Ruler Gouwu revealed an expression as if he had Mo Qingyun in his grasp. He confidently waited for Mo Qingyun's reply. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun definitely wouldn't refuse his request. After all, Mo Qingyun was only a half-step exalt. Even if he cultivated an immortal art, he still wouldn't have a chance of survival. Now that he was giving Mo Qingyun the chance to trade the immortal art for his life, it was a very good deal. Mo Qingyun had no reason to refuse. However, to He Jimin Crow Gowu's surprise, Mo Qingyun sneered when he heard his words. "Old man, you want the immortal art?" Chapter 1081. Kid, since you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, don't blame me for being ruthless. Seeing that Mo Qingyun wasn't willing to cooperate, Overlord Gowu's expression immediately darkened. He said angrily, "Wait until I personally obtain the immortal art. Just wait for me to tear you to pieces and burn your soul to death." Divine Phantom Hook. Overlord Gouwu formed a strange hand seal and pointed at the curved hook weapon in front of him. Then, the curved hook weapon shone brightly and produced numerous shadows that shot towards Mo Qingyun like flying daggers. Skyfire's sky-breaking halberd. Mo Qingyun didn't dare to be careless in the face of Overlord Gowu's attack. He hurriedly retrieved the immortal immolating halberd and quickly brandished it in his hand. Mo Qingyun waved the immortal immolating halberd, and a terrifying flame energy erupted from it. It transformed into a flame dragon that blocked the curved hook shadow. Clang, clang, clang. Every time the immortal immolating halberd blocked the curved hook shadow, it would produce a crisp sound and an astonishing yuan qi storm. A moment later, after Mo Qingyun blocked all the curved hook shadow, the curved hook weapon returned to Overlord Gowu's hand. However, the curved hook weapon was now in tatters, almost no different from a pile of scrap metal. Seeing the curved hook weapon, Overlord Gowu's face was filled with shock. He was extremely shocked by the appearance of the curved hook weapon. His yin-yang hook weapon was a top-grade spirit artifact. Ordinary weapons couldn't harm at all, but now it had been shattered by Mo Qingyun's halberd. This could only mean that the grade of Mo Qingyun's weapon was far superior to the yin-yang hook weapon. After this discovery, Overlord Gowu's eyes flashed, and he looked at the immortal immolating halberd in Mo Qingyun's hand. A mid-grade monarch artifact. Overlord Gowu's eyes lit up as he carefully observed Mo Qingyun's immortal immolating halberd. Greed appeared in his eyes. With his current cultivation in the initial stage of the Sovereign Realm, the weapons he used were only top-grade spirit artifacts. He didn't even have a low-grade monarch artifact. He hadn't expected a half-step exalt like Mo Qingyun to possess a mid-grade monarch artifact. This discovery was too surprising. Of course, Overlord Gowu's heart was filled with joy. As far as he was concerned, once he killed Mo Qingyun later, this king artifact halberd and celestial technique would be his. At that time, when he cultivated the immortal art and refined the king weapon battle halberd, his battle prowess would definitely skyrocket. Overlord Gowu's face. Overlord Gowu's excitement and exhilarated Overlord. Overlord Gowu, he said, Overlord, you've brought me too many surprises mine. Overlords is to Overlord's TT, to the immolating Overlord. At this moment, Heejamin Gowu no longer held back and directly unleashed his full strength. An eerie and terrifying Yuan power erupted from Overlord Gowu's palm, forming a giant eagle claw. When the eagle claw reached for Mo Qingyun, it emitted a mysterious power that rapidly enveloped Mo Qingyun. This mysterious power was the law of Yin that Overlord Gowu had comprehended. The law of Yin was extremely domineering. As soon as it enveloped Mo Qingyun, it seeped into the scorching sun shield and invaded Mo Qingyun's body. Mo Qingyun's body began to age and rot under the corrosion of the law of Yin. It was a rather frightening sight. Not only that, but as his body aged and rotted, Mo Qingyun also discovered that he felt weak and powerless. Not good. This is the death, corrosion, and weakening properties of the law of Yin. I have to get rid of him immediately. Mo Qingyun's expression changed when he sensed the changes in his body. He immediately urged the law of fire to resist the corrosion of the law of Yin. Light! With that in mind, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He immediately urged the law of fire to resist the law of light. The law of Yin was the energy of darkness, so the law of fire just happened to counter it. Very soon, more than half of the law of Yin that had invaded Mo Qingyun's body was removed by the law of fire. However, although Mo Qingyun's body no longer aged and rotted, the feeling of weakness still remained. Mo Qingyun frowned when he sensed that the feeling of weakness was still present. He felt helpless inside. This won't do. The weakening properties of the law of Yin don't belong to the energy of darkness. Instead, it's similar to a certain level of poison. Only the purification and healing properties of the law of water can remove it. This is going to be troublesome. Vitality Rage. In order to resist the feeling of weakness, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate to use Vitality Rage to increase the strength of his vital energy. After using the Blood Chi Berserk, the feeling of weakness in Mo Qingyun's body had clearly weakened a little. This won't do. If I want to completely remove this feeling of weakness, I have to kill this old bastard. After suppressing the feeling of weakness, Mo Qingyun's expression darkened. Killing intent radiated from his body. Old bastard, you're not the only one who knows how to suppress the cultivation of others. Since you want to play, I'll play along with you. Mo Qingyun didn't wait for Go Wu to attack again. He took the initiative to counterattack. Seal Door. In order to repay Heejamin Go for suppressing his strength, Mo Qingyun directly used the sealing gate to seal away Heejamin Go's blood essence and soul. A miniature door of light formed in front of Mo Qingyun and blasted towards Heejamin Gowu with extreme speed. Is this a martial soul ability of the Tianhan continent? It's just a small trick. Seeing Mo Qingyun use the sealed gate, Heejamin Go immediately recognized the origin of this move, and his expression was filled with disdain. In his eyes, this sort of innate ability of a low-level continent was nothing more than a small trick not worth mentioning. Next, Heejamin Wu casually swung his curved weapon at the sealed gate in an attempt to destroy it. However, to his surprise, the door of light in front of him actually pierced through his attack and directly blasted into his body. Gowu didn't seem to care at all when he saw the sealed door pass through his attack and enter his body. Oh, interesting. You were able to pass through my full-powered attack. However, this can't. Halfway through his sentence, Go Wu's smile froze on his face. His expression was one of intense fear. He discovered that his cultivation was beginning to weaken. In the blink of an eye, he had fallen to the level of a sovereign. He had spent 3,000 years to break through to sovereign, and now his cultivation had fallen to the level of a sovereign. He couldn't accept this. Chapter 1082. Kid, what did you do to me? seeing that his blood, spirit, and yuan qi were all greatly suppressed. Ruler Go glared at Mo Qingyun viciously. This was the first time he had suffered such a setback in the thousands of years since he had broken through to the Supreme Being realm. Moreover, it was at the hands of a quasi-Supreme Being kid. This was too ironic. He must skin this brat alive and pull out his tendons in order to vent the hatred in his heart. Why should I tell you? Mo Qingyun smiled mockingly at Ruler Go Wu's question. He ignored Ruler Go Wu and took the initiative to attack Ruler Go Wu again. Burn! The burning characteristic of the Law of Fire was released by Mo Qingyun and immediately condensed into balls of fire around him. Bang, bang, bang. After these balls of fire were condensed, they directly exploded in the air, creating a soaring flame that instantly engulfed Ruler Go Wu. After Ruler Go Wu was engulfed by these flames, his body was immediately set ablaze, and he was hit by an astonishing burning force. Extinguish. Ruler Go Wu's eyes were extremely cold when he saw his body being set ablaze. He circulated his yuan qi to extinguish the flames on his body. A moment later, when Ruler Go Wu extinguished the flames on his body, there was a hint of fear in his eyes as he looked at Mo Qingyun. From a short exchange just now, he suddenly realized that this quasi-Supreme Being kid's methods were too strange and varied. Compared to Ruler Go Wu's panic, Mo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised after the exchange just now. He had a better understanding of Ruler Go Wu's strength. It turned out that ruler realm experts were not undefeatable. They were just more proficient in the use of laws than Supreme Being realm experts and could do as they pleased. Moreover, Ruler Go Wu's cultivation had just broken through to the ruler realm, and it seemed that he hadn't even had time to stabilize his realm. His strength was not comparable to an expert who had broken through to the ruler realm many years ago. Compared to the sovereign realm demonic beasts we killed last time, Jimin Go Wu is much weaker. He's only slightly stronger than a supreme realm expert. After learning about Ruler Go Wu's rough strength, Mo Qingyun was much less fearful of him. He began to think to himself, if I use all my trump cards, I have at least a 70% chance of defeating him. Moreover, I have a 20% chance of killing him. Killing a sovereign realm expert as a half-exalt? When this thought arose in Mo Qingyun's mind, his heartbeat began to accelerate. This seemed a little too crazy. If he could do that, then he would be the first in the history of the Tianhan continent, even if he didn't dare to say that no one would be able to do it in the future. Soon after, a look of impatience appeared on Mo Qingyun's face as he attacked Ruler Go Wu once more. Immemorial Demon revealing Mirror Talisman. Primordial Demonic Sound Pipa Talisman. At this moment, Mo Qingyun no longer held anything back. He brought out two immemorial talismans. Then, a mirror-shaped talisman and a white jade Pipa talisman appeared in the air above Mo Qingyun. When the immemorial demon revealing mirror talisman was brought out, it released a beam of light that struck Ruler Go Wu's body. Under the attack of the immemorial demon revealing mirror talisman, Ruler Go Wu felt like his true form had been exposed. All of his weaknesses were exposed. So if this old man isn't skilled in speed, and he broke through when his lifespan was running out. He's like a candle in the wind now, and can endure a long, fierce battle. With the help of the immemorial demon revealing mirror talisman, Mo Qingyun learned of Ruler Go Wu's weaknesses. He came up with a plan to defeat his enemy. He smiled faintly. Since this old man isn't skilled in speed and can't endure a long battle, I'll slowly exhaust him to death. A talisman from the path of immortality? Ruler Go Wu was shocked by the attack of the immemorial demon revealing mirror talisman. He looked at Mo Qingyun with even more respect. At this moment, Mo Qingyun gave him a mysterious feeling. The path of immortality and the path of demon were on the same level. If Mo Qingyun had come from the path of immortality, he might have even more powerful moves. This was definitely not good news for him. If he didn't deal with this carefully, he might really fail miserably this time and fall at the hands of this half-exalt realm brat. However, before Jimin Crow Go could react, a magical sound wave rushed into his mind. Ah! Ruler Go Wu's expression changed drastically when he was hit by the magical sound wave. He let out a miserable cry, and his consciousness began to blur. However, Ruler Go Wu was a ruler after all. His soul was still very strong, and he quickly regained his consciousness. Mo Qingyun wasn't surprised by this. In any case, he didn't expect the immemorial demonic sound lute talisman to cause Ruler Go Wu's consciousness to fall into an illusion. He just wanted to use it to make Ruler Go Wu unable to concentrate. Traceless demonic shadow, ground shrink. Then, Mo Qingyun attacked Ruler Go Wu with the immortal immolating battle halberd. Because Mo Qingyun's speed was too fast, Ruler Go Wu didn't even have a chance to dodge his attack. Then, a very abnormal scene appeared. Ruler Go Wu, who was a ruler, was actually beaten by Mo Qingyun, who was only a half exalt. He couldn't even fight back. Seeing Mo Qingyun beat Ruler Go Wu to the point that he couldn't fight back, Li He and the others were stunned. Their faces immediately turned pale. They were still waiting for Ruler Go Wu to kill Mo Qingyun and then come to their rescue. However, Ruler Go Wu was actually beaten to the point that he couldn't fight back by Mo Qingyun, who would come to their rescue. Wouldn't this mean that they were doomed? When Li He and the others thought of this, their faces turned ashen and despair rose in their hearts. At this moment, it wasn't just Li He and the others who were shocked by this scene. He Xian and the others were also very shocked when they saw this scene. Young lord, he beat Ruler Go Wu to the point that he couldn't fight back? I think so. Are Sovereign Realm experts really that weak? Will I be able to defeat him too? Martial Uncle Tai too. You drank too much yesterday. You still haven't woken up, right? Stinking brat. Can I show off a little? What's more, isn't it the same for my brother to take action? Hearing Sovereign Tai 2's twisted logic, He Xian and the others fell silent. However, He Xian and the others were in an extremely good mood when they saw Mo Qingyun suppressing Ruler Go Wu. This way, their crisis was resolved, and they didn't have to worry about Mo Qingyun's safety anymore. Underworld Tiger, block this brat for me. Ruler Go Wu finally made a decision when he saw that his situation was getting more and more dangerous. He planned to sacrifice the Underworld Tiger in exchange for a chance to escape. Old man, you can't escape. Chapter 1083. Pucci, the Underworld Tiger couldn't resist Mo Qingyun's overbearing attack at all. The immortal immolating battle halberd pierced through its body. The law of fire on the immortal immolating battle halberd immediately poured into the Underworld Tiger's body. Under the burning of the law of fire, the Underworld Tiger's body instantly shriveled up and turned into tiger jerky in no time. After killing the Underworld Tiger, Mo Qingyun shook the immortal immolating battle halberd and pulled it out of the Underworld Tiger's body. Demonic traceless shadow, ground shrink. Then, Mo Qingyun's figure moved and chased after the fleeing Ruler Go Wu. Li He and the others turned even paler when they saw this scene. The despair in their hearts grew even stronger. As a Sovereign Realm expert, unless he had no other choice, how could He Go Wu possibly abandon his dignity as a Sovereign Realm expert and allow a quasi-exalt to kill him to the point of fleeing? It was clear that Ruler Go Wu was already at his wit's end in his battle with Mo Qingyun. Ruler Go Wu wasn't good at speed. Under Mo Qingyun's all-out pursuit, Mo Qingyun quickly caught up. Old man, you can't escape. Just accept your death obediently. After repeatedly fighting with He Go Wu, Mo Qingyun had already thoroughly figured out He Go Wu's depths and knew the extent of his strength. Now, Mo Qingyun was 70% confident that he could kill Ruler Go Wu today. As such, how could he possibly let go of this opportunity to create a precedent and allow Ruler Go Wu to escape? Kid, what do you want? Ruler Go Wu asked Mo Qingyun anxiously with a terrified expression when he saw his escape route blocked. He was afraid. After the exchange of blows just now, he already had a great fear and dread of Mo Qingyun in his heart. He no longer dared to treat Mo Qingyun as a half-exalt junior, but as an existence of the same level. What do I want? Mo Qingyun chuckled sinisterly at Gowu's question. I've already told you that I'm going to kill a ruler as a quasi-exalt. I'm going to create a precedent in the Tianhan continent, so you'd best obediently become a ghost under my halberd. Mo Qingyun wouldn't show any mercy to ruler Gowu. If Gowu was allowed to escape today, it would be extremely terrifying if Gowu took revenge with his ruler realm cultivation. Only Mo Qingyun was the only person in the Qingyun Palace and Heavenly Lake, Sacred Mountain, that could suppress him. Heavenly Lake, Sacred Mountain, and Qingyun Palace were two separate places. Mo couldn't possibly guard both. Ruler Gowu had to die. Moreover, Mo Qingyun was even more clearly aware that if he was defeated by Overlord Gowu today, then his fate would probably be even more miserable. Heavenly Spirit Finger. Fingers finger. Fingers finger. Finger. Fingers finger. Skyfire halberd. When Mo Qingyun charged at ruler Gowu again, he brandished the immortal scorching war halberd with his right hand and struck out with several fingers with his left hand. Instantly, several streaks of light and a single streak of halberd light shot towards Heejimin Gowu at high speed. Heejimin Gowu didn't dare hesitate in the slightest in the face of the attacks from the finger and halberd. He immediately turned and fled. You still want to run? Do you think you can? Mo Qingyun smiled mockingly when he saw Heejimin go trying to escape. He immediately threw a punch at him. Sky Soul Fist. Mo Qingyun punched out and immediately erupted with terrifying origin energy. It transformed into a huge fist shadow that descended from the sky and slammed into Heejimin Gowu's body. Next, Heejimin Go's body was trapped within the fist shadows, unable to move at all. What martial art is this? It's so powerful. Overlord Gowu's face instantly revealed a look of terror when he saw the numerous finger lights shooting towards him and the fist shadows trapping him. Given his thousands of years of experience, he could tell that the martial art Mo Qingyun was using was something that even some legacy martial arts couldn't compare to. Only the bloodline martial arts of the powerful races on the Wild Continent could compare to Mo Qingyun's martial arts. Could it be that Mo Qingyun was using a bloodline martial art? Bloodline martial art? As this thought flashed through his mind, ruler Gowu's body trembled, startled by his own thoughts. If that was the case, then Mo Qingyun's background was far too great. The Wild Continent was a true holy land for cultivation. It was a place that all martial artists yearned for. It was a place where true experts gathered. It was rumored that there were many races and geniuses there. There were even quite a few divine beast descendants and Ho-E of the god race. If Mo Qingyun really had such a background, he could wipe out the demon path in a matter of minutes. While ruler Gowu was still in a daze, several streaks of light had already arrived in front of him. Seeing this, ruler Gowu didn't dare to be distracted and immediately moved to block. Ruler Gowu lived up to his name as a ruler. Even if he was at his wit's end, he was still able to block Mo Qingyun's attack. Saber light from the eyes. However, as ruler Gowu blocked the streaks of light, two saber light from the eyes slammed into his body. Poochie, two streaks of saber light slammed into Heejimin Blackhook's body, causing two wounds to appear on his body. Blood immediately began to flow out from the wounds, soaking his clothes. The aura radiating from ruler Gowu's body immediately weakened. However, Mo Qingyun didn't give ruler Gowu a chance to catch his breath. He immediately charged at him with the immortal incinerating war halberd. Ruler Gowu couldn't fight for a long time due to his limited lifespan to begin with. Now that he was seriously injured, he quickly looked like he was powerless to continue. Upon seeing Heejimin Gowu's reaction, Mo Qingyun immediately knew that Heejimin Gowu was at the end of his rope. As time passed, ruler Gowu's aura grew weaker and weaker. Poochie! In the end, ruler Gowu couldn't withstand Mo Qingyun's attack, and his chest was pierced through by Mo Qingyun's immortal incinerating war halberd. As soon as the immortal incinerating war halberd pierced ruler Go Wu's body, a terrifying power of laws immediately surged out and began to destroy his body. Soul escape. Seeing his lifespan rapidly depleted, ruler Go Wu didn't dare hesitate. He immediately abandoned his body and used the soul escape art. You want to escape? Not so easy. The corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly as he watched ruler Go Wu use the soul escape art. He raised his hand and took out a black gourd. He shouted, "Absorb!" Moments later, a powerful devouring force began to emanate from the black gourd, sucking He Jim and Go Wu into it. It's great to have this yin-yang mother-child gourd. This way, I can prevent ruler Go Wu's soul from being destroyed. Mo Qingyun revealed a joyful smile when he saw the yin-yang mother-child gourd absorb ruler Go Wu's soul. A hint of anticipation appeared on his face. Ruler Go Wu's soul was the same as his at the peak of the Wanxiang realm. Chapter 1084. After killing ruler Go Wu, Mo Qingyun didn't stay any longer and went to meet up with He Xian and the others. Li He and the others turned even paler when they saw Mo Qingyun return, but didn't see ruler Go Wu's figure. There were only two outcomes in such a situation. The first was that ruler Go Wu had escaped, and the second was that ruler Go Wu had died. Perhaps the second outcome wasn't very likely, but it didn't affect the outcome at all. Mo Qingyun was going to kill them next. Just think about it. Even a ruler like He Jim and Go Wu wasn't Mo Qingyun's match. How could they possibly be a match for Mo Qingyun when their cultivation was only at the Supreme realm? Moreover, Mo Qingyun now had a dozen Supremes by his side. In short, the few of them were dead meat today. Young Lord, what happened to ruler Go Wu? Qi Lian asked Mo Qingyun curiously when he saw Mo Qingyun arrive before him. He Xian and the others tensed up when they heard Qi Lian's question. They waited for Mo Qingyun's reply. As for Li He and the others, they held their breaths as their heartbeats quickened to the extreme. Ruler Go Wu is already dead. Mo Qingyun didn't intend to hide the truth from Qi Lian. He smiled faintly and said, "Now that ruler Go Wu is dead, let's deal with the Sky Pool's sacred mountain with peace of mind." Ruler Go Wu was dead. Li He and the others were like deflated eggplants when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They deflated as intense despair appeared on their faces. Dead. Ruler Go Wu was really dead. It's good that he's dead. Tai Tu was delighted when he saw the expressions of Li He and the others. He laughed proudly and said, "Li He, to think that you would have such a day. Now let me ask you, which one of you will come out to die first? Which one of you will come out to die first?" Hearing Ironhead's words, He Xian and the others shook their heads and smiled bitterly. They felt helpless about his actions. This was what Li He had said to them when they had first arrived at the Sky Sword Sacred Mountain. Now, Ironhead Exalt had returned the same words to them. He was simply giving them a taste of their own medicine. Kill Li He first. After Exalted Tai Tu said those words, Exalted Su Chao and Qin Yongjun revealed furious expressions. They wanted to kill Li He as soon as possible. However, Supreme Tai Tu shook his head and said, "No, Li He will be the last one to be killed." Why? Everyone was puzzled. Even Li He and the other three were puzzled. Tai Tu smiled evilly when he saw everyone's confused expressions. He said, "That old bastard Li He has caused us so much trouble. Wouldn't it be letting him off too easily if we just killed him like this? I want him to watch death approach him step by step. I want him to feel the torture of death approaching him." Martial Uncle Tai Tu, you're amazing. Everyone was impressed when they heard Tai Tu's plan. They all sighed inwardly at how vicious Tai Tu's move was. Li's face instantly paled when he heard Tai Tu's words. Intense fear filled his face as he said nervously, "Imph. A warrior prefers death to humiliation. If you really have the ability, kill me first." Kill you first? Mo Qingyun and the others were stunned when they heard Li He's words. They were rather surprised by Li He's request. This was the first time they had heard someone make such a despicable request. Of course, this also proved Tai Tu's thoughts were correct. Leaving Li He for last was the greatest torture for him. Following that, Mo Qingyun and the others no longer hesitated. They began to attack Li He and the others. Now that Mo Qingyun had joined the fray, Li He and the others' resistance became mere decorations. Very soon, a demon expert was killed by Mo Qingyun. 1. Li's pupils constricted when he saw Mo Qingyun kill a devil race expert. His eyes were filled with intense fear. There were only 2 more before it was his turn to be killed. However, before waiting for Li He to recover to his senses, another fiend race powerhouse was killed by Mo Qingyun. That's the second one. Li He could not help but tremble when he saw that there was only one demon expert left who was struggling for his life. This feeling was simply too torturous. Spurt. After a few breaths, Mo Qingyun's immolating battle halberd pierced through the body of the last demon expert and killed him on the spot. Seeing this scene, Li He sucked in a breath of cold air, the fear in his heart rising to the extreme. Was it finally his turn? Li's expression turned frenzied when he saw that he was about to be killed. He roared furiously, "If you want me dead, you'll have to pay a painful price." As soon as Li He's words fell, the aura on his body rose rapidly and the flow of his origin energy became extremely violent. Seeing that Li He's aura was not moving, Mo Qingyun and the others immediately understood his plan. He was going to self-destruct the elephant's small world. You won't have the chance to self-destruct the elephant's small world. Seeing Li He's plan, Mo Qingyun waved the immolating battle halberd and pierced it into Li He's dantian, instantly piercing through his small world. Devour. After piercing through Li He's small world, Mo Qingyun activated the immolating battle halberd with all his might and devoured the broken sword in Li He's small world. Under the immolating battle halberd's overbearing, devouring power, the violent aura in Li He's body weakened in the blink of an eye. In the end, it completely disappeared. Then, Li He's body no longer had the slightest bit of aura. He had become an ordinary person. Bring him back first. Then, kill him in front of the heavenly pool sacred mountain's dead disciples to comfort their souls. After crippling Li He, Mo Qingyun instructed Supreme, Su Chao, and the others. Then he turned to Qi Lian and instructed, Qi Lian, bring Yin Mo to clean up the sky sword sacred mountain. Yes. After receiving Mo Qingyun's instructions, Qi Lian responded and brought Yin Mo into the heavenly pool sacred mountain. Now that there were no more Supremes in the sky sword sacred mountain, they were instantly slaughtered by Qi Lian and the others. 15 minutes later, in the entire sky sword sacred mountain, not a single person was left alive. In fact, they couldn't find a single disciple. After slaughtering the disciples of the sky sword sacred mountain, Qi Lian and the others didn't hesitate at all. They immediately began to collect the treasures of the sky sword sacred mountain. A few hours later, Qi Lian and the others flew out of the sky sword sacred mountain with joyful expressions. Young Lord, the treasures of the sky sword sacred mountain are in here. Qi Lian came to Mo Qingyun and handed a chinquin bag to Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun nodded at Qi Lian and raised his hand to take the chinquin bag. He said to the others, since the heavenly pool sacred mountain has been eliminated, let's return to the heavenly pool sacred mountain. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he didn't stay any longer and took the lead to fly towards the heavenly pool sacred mountain. Chapter 1085. Several days later, Mo Qingyun and the others finally returned to the heavenly pool sacred mountain. Everyone, follow me to the conference hall. I have some matters to discuss with you all. After returning to the heavenly pool sacred mountain, Mo Qingyun had a solemn expression on his face as he spoke to everyone. Then, Mo Qingyun walked toward the conference hall. The others hurriedly followed after him. A moment later, in the conference hall, the fact that Go Wu was able to come to the heavenly soul continent means that sovereigns can now travel between the heavenly soul continent and the demonic path. Mo Qingyun's heart tightened at the thought of Go Wu appearing in the heavenly soul continent. He felt a strong sense of danger. Everyone tensed up when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. A strong sense of danger welled up in their hearts. Go Wu, who had just become a sovereign, had almost wiped them out. If a few more sovereigns showed up, it would be a disaster. Mo Qingyun's expression turned solemn when he saw the severity of the situation. Qingyun Palace and the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain are separated. It will not be easy to manage them like this. Therefore, I have decided to merge the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain and Qingyun Palace. This will make it easier to manage. Everyone nodded when they heard Mo Qingyun's plan. They felt that Mo Qingyun's considerations were very reasonable. The only person in Qingyun Palace and the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain who could fight against sovereigns was Mo Qingyun. If two sovereigns came and attacked the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain and Qingyun Palace separately, Mo Qingyun would be too busy to deal with them. If such a situation were to occur, it would be better to merge the Azure Cloud Palace and the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain. It would be better to be prepared. After explaining his plan, Mo Qingyun turned to He Xian, Iron Wing, and Qi Lian. Senior He Xian, Iron Wing, and Qi Lian, go to Qingyun Palace immediately and move all of Qingyun Palace's members to the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain. All right, we will do so immediately. Qi Lian and the others nodded when they heard Mo Qingyun's instructions, and then they directly stood up and left the meeting hall. They knew that the Heavenly Soul Continent was in a very dangerous situation. They couldn't afford any delays. Since Sovereign Go Wu had come to the Heavenly Soul Continent, who could guarantee that other sovereigns wouldn't come as well? Mo Qingyun turned to Sovereign Su Chao. Su Chao, use your own name to inform the other divine mountains of the current state of the Heavenly Soul Continent. Tell them to be careful of the demon's invasion. It's up to them whether they believe it or not. Mo Qingyun didn't see himself as a savior. He was only warning the other divine mountains out of a sense of righteousness. If the other divine mountains didn't believe him, they'd have to bear the consequences of their actions. Understood. Sovereign Su Chao nodded. After that, Mo Qingyun explained a few more details to everyone. Su Chao, I want you to clear out a secret area. I'm going to set up a time shift array there, so everyone can cultivate. Mo Qingyun then turned to Sovereign Su Chao. Also, I may need to go into seclusion for a while after I'm done with these matters. I want my soul to break through to the manifestation realm. If anything major happens while I'm in seclusion, don't act rashly. Wait until I'm out. Understood. Everyone hurriedly nodded when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They committed his words to memory. Since that's the case, you may all disperse. Seeing that some matters have been settled, Mo Qingyun waved to everyone, indicating that they should return to their respective residences. After leaving the conference hall, Mo Qingyun returned to his room. He wanted to take stock of the loot from the three divine mountains. Master, what should we do with Li He? Walking out of the meeting hall with Mo Qingyun, Supremacy, Su Chao asked about Mo Qingyun's arrangements with an inquiring expression. Mo Qingyun fell silent for a moment when she heard that. She then said to Supreme Su Chao, in a few days the Green Cloud Palace and the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain will merge. When the time comes, we'll use Li He's blood to commemorate the ceremony. Yes, I understand. Sovereign Su Chao's eyes glittered when he heard Mo Qingyun's instructions. He knew what to do. Qingyun Palace and the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain were merging. Killing Li He during the ceremony and using his blood to commemorate the people of the two sects who had died because of him. It was indeed the most appropriate decision. Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated when he saw Paragon Su Chao leave. He directly returned to his residence. After returning to his residence, Mo Qingyun moved and entered the five-direction pagoda. Mo Qingyun took out the Chinquin pouch containing the loot from the three divine mountains. He wanted to take stock of it. Mo Qingyun first checked the Chinquin pouch. It was the one with the Sky Spear Sacred Mountains loot. Mo Qingyun opened the Chinquin pouch and saw a dazzling array of items. However, most of them were elemental energy stones and Pill Palace origin crystals. The rest were weapons of different grades and martial arts manuals. There were also some materials for refining formations, weapons, and pills. Mo Qingyun separated the items. First, he separated the elemental energy stones and pill palace origin crystals. These were cultivation resources that could be refined and absorbed directly. Then, Mo Qingyun separated the martial arts manuals and weapons. Mo Qingyun was going to give the martial arts manuals to Sovereign Su Chao. He would keep the weapons for the immortal immolating war halberd. Finally, Mo Qingyun left behind some of the materials needed to refine formations, artifacts, and pills. He was going to hand over the rest to Paragon Su Chao later. A few hours later, the Sky Spear Sacred Mountains collection was finally taken care of by Mo Qingyun. He obtained more than 300 trillion elemental energy stones, more than 10 billion Pill Palace origin crystals, and a few million martial arts manuals. There were also some low-grade martial skills. Finally, there were the materials for refining formations, weapons, and pills. Because there were too many of them, Mo Qingyun couldn't do a precise count. However, Mo Qingyun estimated that he could refine 10 million spirit pills, more than 100,000 king pills, more than 10,000 emperor pills, and more than 10 revered pills. As for the materials for refining formations, Mo Qingyun estimated that he could raise the defense and attack of the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain by a level. As for the materials for refining weapons, Mo Qingyun didn't know how to refine weapons. Hence, he couldn't estimate their value. After sorting out all the items, Mo Qingyun felt a little disappointed. Although the Sky Spear Sacred Mountain had a lot of items, there wasn't anything that was valuable to him. Sigh. I hope that the Imperial Beast Sacred Mountains collection won't disappoint me again. Chapter 1086. After opening the Chinkoan bag, Mo Qingyun realized that the Imperial Beast Divine Mountains collection was very different from the Divine Mountains collection. The Imperial Beast Divine Mountains collection mainly consisted of soul-enhancing elixirs and elixirs. The number of elemental holy stones and crystals was much lower. It was a pity that although there were many soul-enhancing elixirs, they were of no use to Mo Qingyun. Compared to Mo Qingyun's current soul cultivation, the quality of these elixirs was still too low. After putting away the soul force-enhancing elixirs, as well as the elemental spirit stones and pill palace crystals, Mo Qingyun continued to take inventory of the other items. First, Mo Qingyun checked the martial arts secret manuals and weapons. These items were huge and had obvious characteristics. Relatively speaking, these items were easier to distinguish. After checking the weapons and martial arts secret manuals, Mo Qingyun began to check the various materials for refining weapons, arrays, and elixirs. Mo Qingyun directly threw the materials into a Chinkoan bag. As for the materials for arrays and elixirs, Mo Qingyun picked some that he needed. Compared to the materials for refining weapons and arrays, the Imperial Beast Divine Mountains elixir refining materials were undoubtedly much more. Mo Qingyun roughly estimated that the Imperial Beast Divine Mountains collection of elixir refining materials was about 5 times the total amount of materials for refining weapons and arrays. Moreover, among these elixir refining materials, most of them were soul-enhancing elixir refining materials. This discovery made Mo Qingyun happy. If all these elixir refining materials were turned into elixirs, the overall strength of the Heavenly Pool Divine Mountain would probably double. This is the Qilin Flame Soul Grass, Winged Silkworm Silver Soul Shell, Plenilune Essence Soul Leaf. As Mo Qingyun continued to check the elixir refining materials, precious elixir refining materials entered his eyes one after another. After seeing these pill refinement ingredients, Mo Qingyun's face lit up with joy and anticipation as he said, "If I have another heaven illusionary blood soul heart, I will be able to refine a creation god summoning pill. With the help of the creation god summoning pill, my chances of breaking through to the manifestation stage will be over 90%. After this thought appeared in his mind, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and increased the speed at which he counted the alchemy ingredients. 2 hours later, Mo Qingyun stopped what he was doing and excitedly looked at the alchemy material in his hand. This was a strange-looking spirit grass. In the middle of the spirit grass 5 green leaves, there was a fruit that looked like a heart. Sky Illusion Blood Soul Heart. After seeing this medicinal herb, Mo Qingyun immediately showed an excited expression. After returning to his room, Mo Qingyun directly left his room and went to find Supreme Su Chao, preparing to hand over the items that he did not need to him. A while later, Mo Qingyun found Supreme Su Chao at his residence and handed him some items from the 3 sacred mountains. Supreme Su Chao received the Qianquan bag from Mo Qingyun with a respectful expression. He said, "Master, I've already arranged the secret place for cultivation that you asked me to arrange. Do you want to take a look now? Let's go." Mo Qingyun did not want to waste any more time when he heard Supreme Su Chao's words. He nodded at Supreme Su Chao, indicating for him to lead the way. A while later, under Supreme Su Chao's lead, Mo Qingyun arrived at a quiet, spacious place. "Master, do you think this place is all right?" Supreme Su Chao asked for Mo Qingyun's opinion after bringing Mo Qingyun here. He continued, "If Master thinks this place is all right, I'll arrange for the disciples to build a cultivation palace here later. This place is not bad." Mo Qingyun looked around and nodded in satisfaction. He said in a deep voice, "This place is surrounded by mountains on 3 sides. Only one of them is connected to the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain. I won't have to worry about being disturbed if I cultivate here." After acknowledging Supreme Su Chao's choice, Mo Qingyun turned to Supreme Su Chao and said, "Su Chao, I'll be setting up some time shifting formations here in the next few days. Don't let anyone disturb me during this period. I'll inform you once I'm done." "Yes." Supreme Su Chao nodded at Mo Qingyun's instructions. He then bowed at Mo Qingyun and said, "If that's the case, I'll be taking my leave first." Seeing Supreme Su Chao's actions, Mo Qingyun nodded and waved his hand, indicating for him to leave first. Chapter 1087. After checking out the surrounding terrain and the space where he could set up the formation, Mo Qingyun knew how to set up the formation. According to Mo Qingyun's rough estimation, the area in front of him should be able to set up 4-time shifting formations. After obtaining this result, Mo Qingyun decided to set up 4-time shifting formations of 15 times, 10 times, 8 times, and 5 times. At the same time, according to Mo Qingyun's calculations, after setting up these 4-time shifting formations, the materials he had on him would be almost used up. With Mo Qingyun's current cultivation, setting up 15 times, 10 times, 8 times, and 5 times time shifting formations was no longer difficult. Next, Mo Qingyun only spent 2 hours to set up a 5 times time shifting formation. After that, he spent another 10 hours to finish setting up a time shift formation that was 8 times faster than normal. However, when setting up a 10 times time shifting formation, Mo Qingyun obviously spent more time. It took him almost an entire day. After that, Mo Qingyun used almost 4 days to set up a 15 times time shifting formation. In the end, Mo Qingyun used a total of 5 days to set up the 4-time shifting formations. Since the 4-time shifting formations are set up, I'll leave the rest to Su Chao. Let him send people to build the cultivation palace. Seeing that the 4-time shifting formations were set up, Mo Qingyun didn't stay any longer. He prepared to instruct Supreme Su Chao to arrange for people to build the cultivation palace. Coincidentally, when Mo Qingyun left, Supreme Su Chao just happened to arrive with Qi Lian and the others. Seeing the arrival of Qi Lian and the others, Mo Qingyun knew that the Qingyun palace had already moved over. Young Lord, the family head, the old family head, the people of the Mo clan, and all the disciples of the Qingyun palace We have already arrived at the heavenly pool sacred mountain. Qi came in front of Mo Qingyun and gave a simple report on the situation of Qingyun Palace's migration to Mo Qingyun. Hearing Qi words, Supreme Su Chao asked with a confused look, "Master, since the Qingyun Palace has moved here, when are we going to hold this ceremony? There's no need to rush the matter of joining the sect for the time being. Once I finish strengthening the sect, protecting grand formation of the heavenly pool sacred mountain, we'll hold the joining ceremony." Upon hearing Supreme Su Chao's question, Mo Qingyun revealed a solemn expression. After explaining his thoughts, he added, "When the sect joining ceremony is held, there will be a lot of people moving around the sect. In order to prevent people from disturbing the sect, it's better to hold the ceremony after the sect protecting grand formation is strengthened." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Supreme Zancho and the others nodded in agreement. They felt that Mo Qingyun's considerations were correct. Currently, the total number of disciples of the Qingyun Palace and the heavenly pool sacred mountain had exceeded 100,000. If anything happened during the ceremony, it would be troublesome to calm them down. As such, they could not allow anything to happen during the ceremony of the Qingyun Palace and the heavenly pool sacred mountain. After explaining the matter of joining the sect, Mo Qingyun said to Supreme Su Chao sternly, "Su Chao, I've finished setting up the time, shifting formation at the back of the mountain. It's 15, 10, 8, and 6 times faster. Get someone to construct the cultivation palaces there." "Yes, master." Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Su Chao nodded and bowed. "If that's the case, I'll be leaving first. I'll arrange for the construction of the cultivation palaces." Regarding Supreme Su Chao's request, Mo Qingyun nodded his head and waved his hand, indicating for him to withdraw. After Supreme Su Chao withdrew, Mo Qingyun took out a universe bag and handed it to Qi. He said, "Qi, inside is the corpse of Sovereign Go-Wu. Find some time to refine it. It might be of some help to you breaking through to the Sovereign Realm." The corpse of a Sovereign Realm powerhouse. Looking at the universe bag that Mo Qingyun handed over, Qi revealed an excited expression. His heartbeat instantly sped up. In his previous life, if he wanted to refine a person with divine ability realm cultivation, he had to hide the head and show the tail sneakily. He did not expect that following Mo Qingyun in this life, he actually even had the chance to refine the corpse of a Sovereign Realm powerhouse. In other words, this was indirectly telling him that he had hopes of becoming a sovereign in this life. How could this not make him excited? "Many thanks, young lord." Receiving the universe bag from Mo Qingyun's hands, Qi revealed an excited expression and hurriedly thanked Mo Qingyun. "All right, there's nothing else now. Everyone disperse first." Handing over Sovereign Go-Wu's corpse to Qi, Mo Qingyun waved his hand at everyone and asked Qi, "Qi, where are the Mo family's people?" "Young lord, I'll bring you over right away." Hearing Mo Qingyun ask about the Mo family's people, Qi did not dare to hesitate in the slightest, immediately bringing Mo Qingyun over. Regarding the residents of the Mo family's people, Qi and the rest clearly made special arrangements, letting them stay in a separate courtyard. Furthermore, there were also many beholder devils guarding around the courtyard, making outsiders unable to approach this place in the slightest. Seeing the beholder devils guarding the Mo family's people, Mo Qingyun knew that Qi had intentions. This was to prevent people from having unscrupulous thoughts. After all, it was hard to tell what was in a person's heart. Plus, the Mo family's clansmen's cultivation was limited. If some people had bad intentions toward the Mo family, everyone in the Mo family would be in danger. However, the beholder devils were completely different. Firstly, they were 100% loyal to Mo Qingyun. Secondly, the minds of demonic beasts were pure. There was no need to worry about them having excessive thoughts at all. After arriving at this small courtyard, Mo Qingyun gathered the Mo family's clansmen, as well as Du Luo, Wan Lianyun, Yi Wuyo, and the others, and asked about their recent situation. After seeing everyone, Mo Qingyun discovered that everyone's cultivation had improved, especially some of the more talented juniors. Their cultivation had even reached the mid-level of the transcendent realm. Among them, Ruo Shui and Long Yutian were the most obvious. Currently, their cultivation had already reached the 6th level of the transcendent realm. They were the two with the highest cultivation among everyone. Of course, the reason why their cultivation could advance by leaps and bounds was related to the inheritances of the 5-star generals. After catching up with everyone briefly, Mo Qingyun gave everyone some pills, martial arts manuals, and spirit artifacts. Then, he set up a formation outside the courtyard where they lived. To Mo Qingyun, the safety of the Mo family's clansmen was the most important. After all, their cultivation was inferior to Supreme Shu Chao and the others. Although the Beholder Devils were guarding outside, setting up another formation to protect the courtyard wasn't a bad thing. The courtyard where the Mo family resided wasn't big. Thus, Mo Qingyun didn't spend too much time setting up the formation. It only took 3 days for Mo Qingyun to finish setting up the protective array formation. After setting up the formation outside the courtyard where the Mo family resided, Mo Qingyun left directly. After leaving the courtyard where the Mo family resided, Mo Qingyun began to strengthen the sect protecting formation of the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain. Due to the vastness of the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain, the time that Mo Qingyun needed to strengthen the sect protecting formation had increased exponentially. Chapter 1088. Given the current strength of the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain's protective formation, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for it to block the attacks of late-stage sovereigns. Recalling the strength of the demonic beasts he had killed along the way, Mo Qingyun made a rough estimate of the defensive capabilities of the protective formation. Fortunately, I plundered the materials from the 3 great sacred mountains. Otherwise, I might not have been able to strengthen the protective formation to such a level. Recalling the amount of materials he had used, Mo Qingyun felt a wave of relief. If he hadn't plundered the materials from the 3 great sacred mountains, he probably wouldn't have been able to strengthen even a tenth of the protective formation. Mo Qingyun sighed inwardly. He didn't linger any longer and flew towards the conference hall. Since the protective formation had been strengthened, it was time for him to inform Supremacy, Su Chao, and the others to prepare for the sect unification ceremony. Before long, Mo Qingyun arrived at the conference hall. Supremacy, Su Chao, and the others happened to be there as well. They were discussing the candidates to cultivate in the time shift formation. When they saw Mo Qingyun enter the conference hall, everyone stopped their discussion and greeted Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun gave a simple response to everyone's greetings. He walked to the front of the hall and sat down. I finished strengthening the protective formation of the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain. We'll hold the sect unification ceremony tomorrow. The strengthening of the sect's protective formation has been completed. That's great. This way, we won't have to worry about the invasion of the Devil race and Ghost race. I wonder how strong the protective formation is. Can it withstand the attacks of sovereigns? For a moment, everyone in the hall was overjoyed as they whispered to each other. Master, with the current defensive power of the sect protection formation, what level of attack can it withstand? Supremacy, Su Chao asked Mo Qingyun curiously when he heard that the protective formation had been strengthened. Qi Lian and the others were also curious when they heard Supremacy, Su Chao's words. They waited for Mo Qingyun's reply. Those below the sovereign realm shouldn't be able to break through the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain's protective formation. Hearing Supremacy, Su Chao's question, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and told everyone about the defensive strength of the sect's protective formation. After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the hall immediately fell silent. Everyone widened their eyes, thinking that they had misheard. Originally, in their opinion, even if the defensive strength of the sect protecting formation was increased, it was already considered heaven-defying for it to be able to block the attack of an early-stage sovereign realm expert. Who would have thought that after being strengthened by Mo Qin, the sect protecting formation could actually withstand the attack of a late-stage sovereign realm expert? This was simply too shocking and beyond everyone's expectations. After that, Mo Qin had a simple conversation with everyone before returning to his residence. After 2 months of setting up the array formation, even with his current soul cultivation, he still felt a little mentally exhausted. After returning to his residence, Mo Qin directly entered the 5-directional pagoda and began to recuperate his mind. A few days later, Mo Qin, who was in the midst of cultivation, opened his eyes with a faint smile on his face. After a few days of cultivation, the mental strength that he had exhausted previously had been completely recovered. The time difference between the 5-directional pagoda and the outside world is 20 times. In this case, there are about 50 days left before the sect joining ceremony. After calculating the time of the sect joining ceremony, Mo Qin had a plan in his heart. He thought to himself, if that's the case, I can use this time to refine the creation god summoning pill and then refine sovereign Go Wu soul to make a breakthrough in cultivation. After thinking about this, Mo Qin no longer hesitated and immediately took out the sacred beast cauldron to refine the creation god summoning pill. Mo Qin sent a martial spirit fire into the sacred beast cauldron. At the same time, the martial spirit fire was supported by the law of fire. Then, the impurities contained in the pill refining materials were refined by the martial spirit fire. After refining the impurities of the medicinal herbs, Mo Qin began to fuse and compress the medicinal liquid, finally forming a complete medicinal pill. The moment the pill was formed, a rich pill fragrance wafted out from the sacred beast cauldron. In addition, a strange scene appeared in the sky above the sacred beast cauldron. The appearance of the pill fragrance and pill image meant that the pill was successfully refined. A moment later, the pill fragrance dissipated. A pill wrapped in blue mist flew out of the sacred beast cauldron and slowly landed in Mo Qin's hand. This was the creation god summoning pill. Seeing that the creation god summoning pill was successfully refined, Mo Qin took out a jade bottle and carefully stored it. Then, Mo Qin took out the Yin-Yang Sun Mother gourd and began to refine Sovereign Go Wu's soul. During these days, Sovereign Go Wu's soul had been completely refined into pure soul power by the Yin-Yang Sun Mother gourd. The Devouring Gate. When Mo Qin opened the Yin-Yang Sun Mother gourd and released the soul power within, he also unleashed the Devouring Gate. When the Devouring Gate was unleashed, it exploded with a shocking devouring power that devoured the soul power released by the Yin-Yang Sun Mother gourd. After the soul power was absorbed by the Devouring Gate, it was transferred into Mo Qin's body, allowing Mo Qin to refine and absorb the soul power. As Mo Qin continued to refine and absorb the soul power that was transferred into his body, the soul power in his sea of consciousness became more and more solid. Following that, time passed bit by bit like this. After an unknown period of time, the soul power that was transferred into the Devouring Gate stopped. Mo Qin knew that the soul power that Sovereign Go Wu's soul had turned into had been completely absorbed by the Devouring Gate. It's still lacking a little. Sensing the current state of his soul, Mo Qin muttered to himself in his heart. A joyful smile appeared on his face as he said, "Fortunately, I was prepared and refined the creation god summoning pill in advance. Otherwise, I would not be able to break through to the manifestation stage in my current state." Subsequently, Mo Qin took out the creation god summoning pill and directly swallowed it. When the creation god summoning pill entered Mo Qin's body, it turned into a stream of pure soul power that directly surged into Mo Qin's sea of consciousness. With the influx of this soul power, the originally empty sea of consciousness was suddenly filled with rich soul power. Now's the time. Seeing the medicinal power of the creation god summoning pill enter his sea of consciousness, Mo Qin did not hesitate and immediately began to break through to the manifestation stage. Subsequently, Mo Qingyun frantically compressed and condensed the soul power in his sea of consciousness. As Mo Qingyun continued to compress and condense, the soul power in his sea of consciousness slowly turned into the shape of a lotus seed. Several hours later, the lotus seed-shaped soul power in Mo Qingyun's sea of consciousness suddenly blossomed with a resplendent golden light. The creation golden lotus is formed. My soul cultivation has broken through to the manifestation stage. As he sensed the golden soul lotus seed in his sea of consciousness, Mo Qingyun's face immediately lit up with joy and he became excited. After calming himself down, Mo Qingyun once again entered into a state of cultivation to stabilize his current soul cultivation. His head was separated from his body, and his eyes were wide open as he died with remaining grievances. After killing Li He, there were all kinds of ceremonies to worship the heavens and ancestors. The entire ceremony lasted for a few hours before it finally came to an end. After the ceremony, Mo Qingyun, Supreme Su Chao, and the others headed to the conference hall. As for the other disciples, they were arranged to attend the banquets for the disciples of different ranks. A while later, Mo Qingyun and the others arrived at the conference hall. The banquet was already set up in the hall. The tables were filled with all kinds of delicacies. Mo Qingyun and the others did not dare to hesitate. They quickly went to their tables and sat down. After everyone was seated, they raised their cups to celebrate the merger between Qingyun Palace and the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain. After a round of drinking, Mo Qingyun said sternly, "Since Qingyun Palace and the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain have merged, the positions of the patriarchs and elders of the two sects will have to be adjusted." After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, everyone nodded in agreement with Mo Qingyun's idea. After that, everyone fell silent as they waited for Mo Qingyun's instructions. Iron Wing, Senior He Xian, and I will be leaving the Heavenly Soul Continent in the future. As such, the three of us will be taking up positions in the sect. After explaining the situation to everyone, Mo Qingyun said, "After Qingyun Palace and the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain merge, it will be named the Qingyun Sacred Mountain. It will be divided into 5 halls: the Pill Hall, the Hall of Souls, the Hall of Inheritance, the Hall of Enforcement, and the Hall of War." After Mo Qingyun said this, an uproar broke out in the hall. Everyone had a shocked expression on their faces. What? Senior Qingyun is leaving the Heavenly Soul Continent? If Senior Qingyun leaves the Heavenly Soul Continent, who will lead our sect? Senior Qingyun's talent is unparalleled, and his strength is at the peak of perfection. The Heavenly Soul Continent is not the end of his martial path. I wonder, how will Senior Qingyun arrange the positions in the sect? Everyone was curious. They want to know what Mo Qingyun's position would be. Everyone, please be quiet and let me finish. Looking at the restless crowd below, Mo Qingyun spread his hands and gestured for them to quiet down. After hearing Mo Qingyun's command, everyone in the hall quieted down. When he saw that everyone had stopped speaking, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer and said in a low voice, "In the future, the Mountain Master of Azure Cloud Mountain will still be Su Chao. As for Qin Yongjun, she will be the Vice Mountain Master and assist Su Chao in managing the affairs of Azure Cloud Mountain." Everyone was convinced by Mo Qingyun's arrangement. With Su Chao and the others' qualifications, they had the right to be in that position. After assigning the positions to Su Chao and the others, Mo Qingyun turned to Qiu Yi. As for the Pill Hall, Qiu Yi will be in charge. If Qiu Yi has anything she doesn't understand about alchemy, Su Chao, you will guide her. Yes, Master. Don't worry, Master. Your disciple will do his best to help Junior Sister. After hearing Mo Qingyun's orders, Su Chao and Qiu Yi hurriedly nodded to express their determination. Mo Qingyun nodded in satisfaction after seeing Qiu Yi and Su Chao's actions. Then he turned to Qi Lian and the others and said, "In the future, the law enforcement hall will be Qi Lian and the others. As the Soul Hall is mainly made up of the Ghost Fetus clan, it will be managed by Huang Wan, Deng Ronghua, and Fanja. The three of them will be the Hall Masters of the Soul Hall. As for the technique imparting Hall Master, it will be Tai Tu." After hearing Mo Qingyun's orders, everyone saluted one after another, showing their determination. After assigning Qing Yun's positions to the various halls, Mo Qingyun and the others came up with new rules for the Sacred Mountain of Qingyun to restrict the disciples of the Sacred Mountain of Qingyun. After everyone finished discussing everything, the banquet for the sect joining ceremony came to an end. After the banquet, Mo Qingyun, He Xian, and Iron Wing entered seclusion again. They were prepared to improve their cultivation. Chapter 1090. Within the 5-directional pagoda. Kid, Gucci, owe you a favor. I borrowed your body to be reborn. Now that the divine mountain of Qingyun has been established, I have fulfilled my promise. Thinking back to the day of his rebirth and the promise he made to his predecessor, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but sigh. Originally, after fulfilling my promise to you, I could have given up on your name and used the name of my previous life again. However, the name Mo Qingyun has been with me for many years. I really can't bear to give up on it now. Sitting in the 5-directional pagoda, Mo Qingyun laughed at himself. If that's the case, I'll use your name to explore the wild continent again. Let's see how far we can go. At this moment, a very strange feeling appeared in Mo Qingyun's mind after he finished speaking. A faint figure suddenly flew out of the light door martial spirit, which had been calm recently, and looked at Mo Qingyun's consciousness. Seeing this faint figure, Mo Qingyun was shocked. He said in surprise, "I didn't expect that there would be a remnant of your soul in this light door martial spirit. It's unbelievable." That's right, the shadow in the gate of light was the remnant of Mo Qingyun's soul. Big Brother Gucci, hello. Please allow me to call you that. Seeing Mo Qingyun's soul, the remnant revealed a smile of relief. After greeting Mo Qingyun, it said, "Thank you for allowing me to experience such a rich life. You allowed me to go from being a quiet junior of the family to being at the peak of the Tianhan continent. You allowed me to experience such a legendary life. With this life, I can die without regrets. I can let go of my obsession." After the remnant finished speaking, its figure gradually faded away and disappeared in front of Mo Qingyun's eyes. "Big Brother Gucci, if there's a chance, I hope that we can meet again in our next life. Thank you for this life." Seeing the remnant of his predecessor's soul disappear, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but feel a strong sense of reluctance. Although he had only met his predecessor once, the feeling of closeness was even stronger than that of a biological brother. "Brother, have a safe journey. I'll send you off." Looking at the place where his predecessor's remnant soul had disappeared, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and shook it. He used his soul power to conjure a wine pot and a wine cup, and poured a cup for the dissipated remnant soul. Buzz. As Mo Qingyun filled his cup, he suddenly felt a buzz in his mind. Following that, a very comfortable and carefree feeling appeared in his mind. After this feeling came, Mo Qingyun was shocked to find that his compatibility with the light door martial spirit had nearly doubled. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun was stunned. He really didn't expect that the light gate martial soul, which had been a great help to him, would not be completely compatible with his soul. As the light door martial soul and Mo Qingyun's soul were completely compatible, Mo Qingyun felt a shocking power that instantly enveloped his soul. Under this power, Mo Qingyun found that the golden lotus of fate seemed to be nourished by rain and dew and started to grow rapidly. This scene was like the revival of all living things. A plant life grew rapidly, took root, sprouted, and grew green leaves. As the golden lotus of creation continued to grow, The aura emanating from Mo Qingyun's body also became stronger. After about 2 hours, Mo Qingyun's aura finally stopped increasing. At this moment, the golden lotus of fate in his sea of consciousness finally stopped growing. At this moment, the golden lotus of fate had undergone an earth-shattering change from its previous appearance. Now, the golden lotus of fate had changed from its original lotus seed state to a plant with lotus leaves and lotus flowers. Peak of the creation realm. When the golden lotus of fate stopped growing, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with disbelief as he found that his soul cultivation had reached the peak of the creation realm. This kind of speed of improvement really gave Mo Qingyun quite a shock. If others knew about this speed of improvement, they would probably be scared to death. After calming down, Mo Qingyun started to check on the golden lotus of fate to see if there was anything wrong with it. After some observation, Mo Qingyun found that there seemed to be nothing wrong with the golden lotus of fate other than the huge change in its appearance. This is strange. The golden lotus of fate at the peak of the creation realm should be in the shape of a lotus leaf. How did it become like this? Although Mo Qingyun knew that the golden lotus of fate was helpless, he was still very confused about the current appearance of the golden lotus of fate. The current appearance of the golden lotus of fate had completely exceeded his knowledge and was something he had never heard of before. After pondering for a while, Mo Qingyun stopped thinking about it and sighed helplessly. If my guess is right, the reason why the golden lotus of fate has become like this should have a lot to do with the light gate martial spirit. Seeing that the changes of the golden lotus of fate were related to the light gate martial spirit, Mo Qingyun found it even harder to think about it. In his opinion, as long as it was related to the light gate martial spirit, it was not something that he could understand now. Now that my soul cultivation has broken through to the peak of the creation realm, I should increase my yuan power cultivation. Thinking that his yuan power cultivation was only at the half-revered realm, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately made a breakthrough in his yuan power cultivation. Then, Mo Qingyun took out a large number of Dan Palace crystals and placed them around his body. Devouring Gate. After taking out the Dan Palace crystals, Mo Qingyun immediately used the Devouring Gate to absorb the Dan Palace crystals around his body. Under the absorption of the Devouring Gate, the yuan power within the Dan Palace crystals was instantly extracted in an overbearing manner, following which the elemental energy within the Pill Palace's elemental crystals were like small streams as they were absorbed by the Devouring Gate. After absorbing the yuan power within the Dan Palace crystals, the Devouring Gate sent it into Mo Qingyun's body for him to absorb and refine, allowing him to break through his cultivation. As he continued to refine the yuan power from the Devouring Gate, the aura on Mo Qingyun's body became stronger and stronger. Soon, it reached a limit. Break for me. Seeing that the yuan power in his body had condensed to a limit, Mo Qingyun roared and controlled the yuan power to break through the barrier of the realm. When Mo Qingyun controlled the yuan power to break through the barrier of the realm, he also integrated the power of law into the yuan power, causing the yuan power in his body to undergo a substantial change. Facing the impact of the surging yuan power, the barrier of the realm was instantly broken. Boom! The barrier of the realm was broken in an instant, and Mo Qingyun's cultivation rose to the Supreme Being realm. His body emitted a terrifying aura. At the same time, Mo Qingyun realized that his body seemed to have become 100 times or even 1,000 times bigger. The amount of yuan power he could store became limitless. Absorb. This old man is willing to compensate for his actions. If there is a next time, don't blame us for being impolite. Qin Yongjun and the others' complexions improved slightly when they saw Mountain Lord Xingwu's actions. They no longer bickered with Supremacy Xinghua. Of course, The main reason why Qin Yongjun and the others didn't bicker with Supremacy Xinhua was because those people weren't seriously injured. Even so, Qin Yongjun and the others' impression of the people of the various sacred mountains instantly turned to one of loathing. Second senior brother. Eldest senior brother is too modest. Won't he be at a disadvantage when dealing with people like this? Qiu Yi frowned when she saw Supremacy Su Chao walking in front. She said worriedly, "Why don't we inform Master about this?" Qin Yongjun hesitated when she heard Qiu Ye's words. She wondered if she should tell Mo Qingyun about this. While Qin Yongjun was hesitating, Huangguan's expression changed. He suggested, "Palace Lord Qiu Yi, Vice Mountain Lord Qin, I think we shouldn't tell Master about this for now." Qin Yongjun and Qiu Ye's expressions changed when they heard Huangguan's words. They didn't understand why Huangguan said that. Huangguan sorted out his thoughts when he saw their puzzled expressions. He explained to the two of them, "There are two reasons why I don't want the two of you to tell Master about this. First, young Lord and the others are currently at a crucial point in their cultivation breakthroughs. They shouldn't be disturbed. Second, Master appointed Supremacy Su Chao as Mountain Lord because he trusts his ability to handle matters. If we tell Master about this, wouldn't we be doubting Supremacy Su Chao's ability?" Qingyin Divine Mountain, in front of a simple courtyard. Mountain masters and elders, because there are too many disciples in the sacred mountain of Qingyun, the number of rooms in the sacred mountain is limited. I have no choice but to ask you to rest here. Perhaps it was because Qin Yongjun didn't like the people from the other divine mountains, but she specifically found a room for ordinary disciples to rest in. The people from the other divine mountains frowned at Qin Yongjun's actions. They were faintly displeased. However, when they considered that they were living under someone else's roof and that they still needed to ask the sacred mountain of Qingyun for help, they suppressed their displeasure. "Thank you for your trouble, Vice Mountain Master Qin." The people from the other divine mountains smiled faintly and cupped their fists in gratitude towards Qin Yongjun. "You're welcome. Since senior brother has asked me to do so, I will naturally do as he says." Qin Yongjun did not appreciate the crowd's gratitude at all. She indifferently replied, "If that's the case, I won't disturb everyone's rest. When the banquet starts, I'll come and invite everyone over." "All right, please do as you wish, Vice Mountain Master Qin." The people from the other divine mountains smiled apologetically and gestured for Qin Yongjun to leave. Qin Yongjun nodded and wanted to leave. However, after taking a step forward, he stopped and spoke with a solemn expression. "Everyone, you must remember, do not approach the courtyard in the Divine Mountain if you have no business there. Otherwise, if you arouse the displeasure of the people there, even senior brother and I won't be able to save you." "That courtyard?" The people from the other divine mountains were surprised by Qin Yongjun's words. They were curious about the identity of the person living in the courtyard. However, they didn't take it to heart. They only replied politely, "We will definitely remember your words, Vice Sect Master Qin." In their opinion, if it weren't for the fact that they had to give face to Sovereign Su Chao, there really wouldn't be anyone on the sacred mountain of Qingyun that they had to be wary of. Due to the invasion of the demon and ghost race, as well as the speed at which Mo Qingyun's group wiped out the Sky Spear, Sky Sword, and Imperial Beast Mountain was simply too fast. As a result, the people from the other divine mountains didn't know that the divine mountain of Qingyun had destroyed the Sky Sword, Sky Spear, and Imperial Beast Mountain. Instead, they believed that the demon and ghost race had done so. Moreover, the various matters of the Qingyun Palace and Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain had been handled by Sovereign Su Chao and Qi Lian. As a result, the people from the other divine mountains weren't particularly clear about Mo Qingyun's strength. They only treated him as an extremely talented junior.